And we are live on video.
Stereo.
Oh, we need that THX thing.
Yeah.
That's
Dolby,
weird.
Dolby sound.
Dolby surround sound.
I don't know if we got that, but
Yeah, I don't think we have Dolby money. I don't think that's in the budget.
Dolby money. Maybe Dobby money, but not Dolby money.
Yeah.
Well, if you are in the show, welcome. We are going to kind of chit chat for a minute until our guests show up. So we may get into some content before they get here. I'm not real sure, so they haven't. They didn't really say what time they were jumping in, so
that's fine.
It's all good. They can do it at their convenience. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of crazy because they're we're talking with Methane and they're from they could be from over in Sweden, so we're not real sure how that situation is yet. So that's one of the questions we had for them. So but if that's the case, then it's Saturday afternoon there. So I mean they're probably having to wind down and to get into this. So.
Well, I hope Timu from Anzalu is feeling better this week. So
yeah,
because he wasn't feeling too good last week, and we already know that Jens from Defaced is probably already a glass or two deep on wine. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our Scandinavian friends are definitely enjoying their Saturday.
I'm sure, yeah. So. Yeah, I don't see anything with the chat on my thing, so.
That is really freaking weird. That is weird. Yeah. Good morning, Kevin.
I wonder if they got it. I wonder if they got it where it just shows up on the app now or something. No, that's just weird.
I don't know. Well, open up Dan is here, so maybe he may be able to answer that. I don't know. So, and good morning to Dan. Good morning to the boss.
Yeah, so I can't acknowledge if I don't see. So.
Well, if worse comes to worse, go ahead and open up VOP and kind of monitor the chat from there and see if that's working.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking over there now to see if it's going on there. Let's see.
And Ace is in the house. Yep, we hope everybody had a good week. Dan says, "How dare you not see me?"
Let's see here. Oh, shit.
Well, we know Dan is omniscient anyway, so.
Let's see here.
More upgrades coming soon. Hell yeah, man. But yeah, we hope everybody had a great week. Hope everyone hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day. Those who celebrate that kind of thing. So.
Interesting. Let's see here.
What you got over there, bud?
Just like I think I see part of the chat, but I can't see it all. So I'm like trying to figure it. Like it's just a little bitty box.
What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box? A little bit of nothing.
Is it Gwyneth Paltrow's head? Is that what's in the box?
I hope not.
Yeah, no.
What the fuck? I don't know. That's weird. I don't know.
That is kind of weird.
It's crazy. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? I don't want to play it. I just want to see the chat. Hey, there it goes.
Yeah, all right. There it is.
From last Thursday.
from last Thursday. All right, well, cool. Hey.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's funny.
Yep. It's just the chats from last Thursday. So
Ah.
Crazy.
That's funny.
So I don't know. I guess I'll have to just keep an eye on the Facebook side because I know it all shows up over there. So.
And
Right.
there's our good buddy Dana. Good morning to Dana, our friend and collaborator from Metal and Tats is with us this morning.
All right, so let's see here. Yeah, so I do. Yeah, I do see all that. So yeah, I'm just gonna. I see Dana's coming anyway. I don't see nobody else's right now, but I see Dana's.
Well, Ace is always with us on Twitch anyway, so
Yeah.
like she's special or something. She got to be on Twitch.
She's got a Twitch for Twitch.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
Y'all got any more of that Twitch?
That's funny.
Oh man. I guess I can get some birthdays out of the way or something since
we might as well.
They're not on board yet, so we'll get some content out of the way while we're waiting. So
yeah, man, we'll just kind of play this by ear. Like I say, it's
get all these damn cords out of my way over here. So. It's been like crazy. Like I've been updating this thing and then trying to upload the last the Zulu. I've been trying to upload that to Spotify. Mm-hmm. So
the Spotify thing's been actually working pretty cool. So
yeah, so I know a lot of people that I've talked to is like, oh man, good, I can finally listen there because I guess that's the only way they listen to anything. Like that. I guess the only way they can listen to anything is like. I'm like, that's not an excuse, but you had 140 other outlets already, so
that's true. That is very true.
Don't act like that's the reason.
Right. Yeah.
But we are on Spotify now, so if anybody out there is listening and would rather listen to us there, you're welcome to go there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So just so you do know that if you do listen to a Spotify show, it's not going to be the live one. It's going to be a uploaded.
Yeah, that's kind of like
that's the only thing that I kind of like. But it is what it is. So.
Yeah, that's really the only downside to being on Spotify is you'll be a touch behind, but
yeah, Well, that's what I'm trying to catch. I'm trying to catch the interviews up to date, and then going forward, I'll post all the shows. But I was just trying to get the interview portions first, and that way, if someone wants to go back and listen to some of those interviews, then they can. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense.
It's been pretty good. I mean, we've the numbers over the last couple of weeks been pretty impressive. So,
well, there's Tim.
Yeah, appreciate that. Oh, it is? Okay, cool.
he's working on his aim. It looks like.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, we always do that. So.
I'm a little late, dude. Sorry.
No, man.
No, man. No, dude. You're totally fine, Tim. You're totally fine.
All right.
You're never late, man. It's your party. You're never late. So.
All right. How should I be holding my phone on this thing? There we go. Maybe that's better.
Hey, man. If you want to do the interview on a jog, that's fine too. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool, right? Easy to concentrate. Oh, all right. Well, I'm here now anyway. That's good.
Yeah, cool. Well, we appreciate you taking your time out to join us. So,
yeah, well, thank you guys. So. What's up?
He got us in a room with all the conversational pieces. I see what he did. So.
Yeah, he did. We may have. I was gonna say we may have to have him get up and give us a tour of everything. So
yeah.
I just kind of like hid in my guitar room.
Cool. So.
All right. Well, we have Tim Scott from Methane joining us this morning on the Metalheads Unite Podcast. The American contingent of Methane. So
Yes.
So before we get into the actual album itself, Jason and I were talking about this before the show started, and we were kind of curious. So we figured we would ask how exactly did you end up being the American representative in Methane, considering the other three guys are from over there across the pond.
Right. Well, I met a Swedish girl in the U.S. when I was living out there a long time ago, and ended up moving out here with her. So that's kind of how I became,
okay.
how I got to Sweden. And then I did like the family thing and that kind of stuff. And now it's like getting back into music. Kids got a little older, and I can do kind of what I want.
Yeah,
you know.
And it's funny you say that because we've interviewed a few bands on here that's actually done that. Actually, a band over here in the States called Eyes of the Living kind of did that. They had a band in their 20s, and then family kind of got in the way, so they took a break. Now their kids are older, and they started another band back up, which is pretty cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how you do it. And music isn't age discriminatory. So.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I played in a lot of bands back home in the States. I played in Revenant from the New York area, and
I've seen your resume on Encyclopedia Metalheads. I was like, oh wow, he's been in a few bands.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I played with Rob from Cannibal Corpse in a band called Hate Plow down in Florida.
Oh, nice.
Then I moved out here. Played in a little death metal bands out here too.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
So you are actually in Sweden now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. All right. I was
that was kind of like what we were
right. Yeah, I live here, man. I live here.
Yeah. That's what was kind of discussing before the show. I was like, I wonder if he just, if he was like here and then there and then back, or what happened.
Oh my God, that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it would be. That's why I was kind of like, man, that'd be hard to get any music done.
It'd be expensive as hell.
Yeah, no shit. God, no kidding.
We already know how much of a pain in the ass it is to tour over here. So
it's hard enough to get. It's hard enough to get 4 guys together to practice. I mean, get one that lives in another country. Forget it.
Right, Zoom call to practice or something.
And then you can't stay on time because of the lag on the fucking internet connection.
Yeah, that would definitely be an inconvenience for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, so that totally makes sense that you're actually over there. So,
yeah.
All right. So, Kill It With Fire, the new album. Excuse me. Holy shit. Came out January 27th. So,
yeah.
Kind of talk to us a little bit. God, sorry, I need to get some water or something. I may do that in just a second. So tell us, so since you're over there in Sweden, we know it's, it was easier for you guys to get together and make the album, but go ahead and, if you would, tell us about the process about, getting everything recorded and, do you guys, cause we've had some other bands who've got their own studio space and they're able to mix and master and everything. So what kind of setup do you guys have for your?
We're real traditional, man. I mean, we're like 2 guitar players, a bass player and a drummer, and we sit in our practice studio, which is here at my house, and write songs together. Somebody comes with a riff, somebody else comes with a riff, we put the riffs together, we make songs, and we tear the songs apart and rebuild them until we like them. That's pretty much the writing process. And then we go to a recording studio with well, it's not 8-track tapes or anything like that. It's still a traditional recording, do guitar, lay the drums down, scratch guitars, and take turns, make a mistake.
So he's like, hey, take that reel to the blank over there and just tape it around. So
oh, no,
now we're telling our age. So.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, exactly. Reel to reel and all this.
Yeah, real. Yeah.
God almighty. All right, so who's the main lyric writer?
I write all the lyrics.
Okay.
I guess because I speak English.
Okay, all right.
Marcus, our guitar player, is actually an English teacher, but no, I take care of that part of it. Otherwise, it becomes weird, like Swinglish or something like that.
Swinglish,
yeah.
Hey, don't knock it though, man. Because I've heard some bands, like especially in like the German area, Germany area, where I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but this is badass. It's like,
right. Yeah, it can sound kind of evil too.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mention it because if you remember, Jason, I know you remember, but we had a band from Germany on here not too long ago, and called Source of Rage, and they were we had a couple of members of the band come on, and they were very concerned about the language barrier. They're like, well, English isn't our first language, so you may have to kind of, forgive us a little bit. And so they were super worried about not being able to speak English well enough, but it's strange because you listen to the album and it sounds just like you or I or Jason.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like the Ozzy Osbourne thing. You listen to Ozzy Osbourne talk like in an interview, and you always wonder how he sings so well.
Right.
For the most part.
You're like,
of course.
You're like, cut the closed caption on, Jesus, man.
Right. But then, so the Source of Rage guys, they're emailing us back and forth before the interview. They're like, just kind of be patient. It's like, yeah, it's totally fine. We understand. They come in and they're not speaking the King's English or anything, but I mean, they were able to communicate just fine, and there was no issues and everything.
Yeah,
like
man.
So,
Everybody here in Europe pretty much speaks English. Maybe it's not their first language, but I mean, you don't really need to speak another language when you come to Europe. Everybody can speak and be understood. I mean, Sweden is, I think, the number one English-speaking country in Europe that does not have English as its first language.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, you could talk to people here, and it's just like talking to somebody back in the States. It's really not a problem. I didn't have to learn Swedish when I moved here. I wanted to, so I knew if they were talking shit about me or not.
There you go. Yeah.
It's the same. You go down to Germany. They don't use it that much. I think. Even France is famous for not wanting to speak English, but they can understand English if they want to.
Yeah. So how long have you been over there?
Geez, I guess it's like 22 years or something like that.
Oh wow, okay.
Damn, okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm almost Swedish. Almost a Viking.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you got to work on the beard a little bit. So.
Yeah, right.
He's still under his initiation process. So.
That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. Yeah. Okay, so you've been over there for a while, and I probably kind of more or less know a little bit of the answer to this, but between the first album, The Devil's Own, and Kill It With Fire, there was a little bit of a hiatus there. You got 6 years between the two.
A little bit.
So yeah, so obviously being over there in Europe, they had a lot more of a difficult time with some lockdowns and restrictions with the pandemic. Was that kind of one of the causes for the hiatus?
No, not really, man. I mean, we're on. We've had a real Spinal Tap thing going on in our band. We're on our 7th drummer right now.
Oh God!
I was about to say your drummers kept exploding.
Yeah, they explode, they disappear. Sasquatch comes and eats one of them. I don't know what happens to these guys. Actually, like in 2019, we released "Thin the Herd" as a single. And that was supposed to be the album coming up. After that, we were going to go into the studio and record it. But then, another drummer just kind of, I don't know, fell into a well somewhere and nobody can find him. And now we got Jonathan in the band. He's been in the band probably like a year and a half. So he learned all the songs and kind of wrote his style into them. And we got into the studio and recorded as quick as we could. It's probably also a reason why there's only 7 songs on the album instead of like 8 or 9. It's kind of a short album, but we kind of like that too.
Yeah, it kind of gives the old school thrash, kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before. How remember back when Metallica started, there was no, they didn't put 13 albums on or 13 songs on an album. It was just 6 or 7 songs. And,
Yeah, I like the idea that we released a little shorter, like, I don't know, extended EP, mini album, what you want to call it. It's kind of like, you don't have to have a long album, and it's not worth recording just like filler songs, like, let's write a song just so we make 42 minutes on an album. I don't know. We don't have to do that anymore, with all the digital stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So with there being 7 songs on the album, was that how many songs were written? So is that how many it ended up with?
We had like some scraps of other stuff, but yeah, it was kind of like, this is what we're going to use.
Okay.
Okay.
So
now we
you
have
kind of,
we have probably a half album already ready to be recorded. So
okay, that's where I was going with
cool.
it.
right, yeah, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff.
That's very cool. So
Yeah.
just real quick, we have Kevin Tarrant in the chat that says, "What's up, Tim?" So
Hey, Kevin, what up, man? All right.
So you saying that is that like so with you saying that you have some more tracks like down, or that's something where y'all are trying to maybe put out another new album like pretty soon, or just kind of
I mean, we kind of want to keep ourselves relevant, you know. We're still planning. I don't know if we're gonna like just release some singles, or if we're gonna do an EP or an album yet. We haven't really decided together. I think like half of us want to do one thing, half want to do the other. So we kind of have to
meet in the middle
somewhere. And
right.
But we got new music, and it's killer. You know, it's really staying true to the Kill It With Fire vibe.
Cool.
We want to get out on tour first too.
Right.
So
yeah.
I was gonna ask about that, because our guests from last week, they were over, you know, your guys' neighbors over there in Finland, and they were talking about they're in the middle of an 8-day, you know, just a tour through Finland, but they were talking about it being a little tough touring over there right now. Have you guys had any experiences with that, like
in Scandinavia or in Europe, or
were they having an issue in just Scandinavia or Europe in general, Jason? I don't remember, because I remember Timu telling us they were having a little bit of a rough time with touring. I just can't remember if he said it was just in Finland.
Yeah, I think he said it was just mostly in Finland, because they're a big like that area is more like a death metal and doom metal type instead of
that's what
sure.
It is.
And you know, you got
thrash,
and Finland and Sweden and Norway are all kind of similar in the way that they really only book gigs on the weekends too. It's like Friday, Saturday.
Wow.
So
really?
you can't really do like a tour. I mean, maybe there's one place in Stockholm that will book you on a Wednesday or a Thursday, but otherwise, you know, I mean, it's just weekends. So like the Swedish bands, they tour maybe 6 weeks, but it's just 6 weekends. You know what I mean? It's the same in Finland.
Okay.
We go over to Finland a lot. Like we can play maybe a Thursday, but definitely a Friday and Saturday. But you won't find a show like on a Monday, or unless you're Metallica or something like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like normal bands.
Right.
Right.
So that's why they're all trying to come over here. These crazy Americans that come out on a Tuesday and watch a show.
Oh, you jump down to like mainland Europe, like Germany and Holland and all those countries down there. They're crazy. I mean, they'll go out on a Monday morning to get
Yeah, I'm right there. I guess I'd probably go too. So,
well, I guess in an odd way, and like I don't know this from experience, but I know this from, you know, watching sports, and I'm sure, you know, Jason, with you being more, you know, NFL and everything. So, and obviously Tim, you know, because you're over there. I guess you kind of have to adjust your schedule a little bit, because like when a hockey game or a football game starts over here, like in the evenings, you know, it's, you know, ass crack of dawn over there when the game starts.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I guess you guys over there are kind of used to it a little. Well, you'd be more used to it than we would, you know. So I guess I kind of understand that to a certain extent. Yeah, exactly. Used to the time difference and certain things starting. What would be like,
you know,
be prime time for us would be like super duper early in the morning for you guys.
Right, but we're not watching American TV and stuff over here. We have our own. So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, I get that.
I mean, if you want to watch NHL matches, then you got to stay up real late.
Right.
I mean, I tried to all-nighter for the Super Bowl. I fell asleep with at the half with Rihanna. But you know, I'm a Raiders fan too, so every Sunday night I'm up watching those games. But otherwise, you know, our prime time is the same. We have all the stuff that happens here at 8:00 is prime time. You know.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
All right. So that's going to bring a question up. How does a guy from New Jersey become an Oakland fan, or I guess a Raiders fan in general?
Yeah, Oakland, bro. You know, I was born in New Jersey, and I grew up in Eureka, California. My first Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl I saw was the Vikings Raiders when the Raiders won.
Oh, nice.
And it was kind of like, kind of force-fed Northern California Raiders.
Right.
You're either a Raiders or a 49ers fan. And black and silver was really cool with a pirate. So that,
Well, I mean, that is very true. That's very true.
So then I moved back to New Jersey after a while in my teens,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then nobody wants to be a Jets fan, so
Yeah.
Not even Jets fans want to be Jets fans. So. And all you Jets fans out there, don't worry. I'm talking shit, but I'm a Lions fan, so I got zero room to talk.
Lions
so don't even worry about it. So don't even worry about it. Kevin in the chat says he's been jamming the shit out of the album, and there's not a bad song on it. Period. Says the whole thing slaps.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Kevin.
We absolutely will concur with Kevin there. So absolutely.
Right on, Kevin.
Yeah. Now, for me personally, the new album that I obviously listened to both albums this week multiple times in preparation for the show, and one thing I kind of, at least this is what I kind of gleaned from it. On the first album, you guys had a little bit more of a groove metal kind of a Pantera, Black Label Society kind of vibe. Right. That's what I heard, and then it kind of morphed a little bit, like Jason said, into a little bit more of a thrash album this go around. So, I mean, what kind of influences are we talking about in the band?
Yeah, I think you're kind of onto it there. I mean, we had more of a Black Label kind of thought behind our music process back then, and it really didn't feel so natural. I mean, thrash. Both Jimmy and I are old thrash metal dudes. We love thrash metal, and it kind of developed into that, we think like a lot of groove, New York hardcore, thrash metal. We both have played a lot of death metal our whole lives, and you just sit there and bang your head and count all the time. And we wanted to play something that you could just didn't have to think so much and just kind of move, and groove, and this is what's coming out. Pretty much.
Well, I'd say it's definitely put together well, and I kind of like the evolution of the sound. Of course, Jason and I are both thrash metal guys by heart anyway, but even with us being the age that we are, obviously when Pantera became the Pantera that everybody knows, that was kind of like in our wheelhouse at the time. So you're talking, at this point, you're talking 30 years ago, so we would have been in our teens, just about 20 years old. So I mean, that would have been right around the time that I guess we would have been in quote unquote in our, in the prime of our fandom and everything. So to kind of hear that sound on the first album, then hear it evolve to kind of what it became today, you've got that foundation based on those two bands, and it comes into now. So it kind of really hit the sweet spot for Jason and I think so. Yeah. And I think and then especially for guys like Kevin in the chat, I don't want to necessarily speak for him, but he seems to kind of be like the same fan as us. So just to really have an album come along like that with a sound that has kind of lasted this long, it also speaks to the longevity of it. So fans like Jason and Kevin and I, it's kind of near and dear to our heart, and kind of it's good to hear that the sound holds up and is something that bands, even though like you said you've played music for a long time, but it's still a sound, and it's still a sound that resonates with people.
Right. Yeah, it's fun to play something with groove too in the thrash genre. I mean, I hear a lot of guys like, "Oh, this is in the new wave of thrash metal, and it's got too much groove in it. That's not thrash metal." But yeah, it is. It's got a lot of groove, but so did thrash back in the day. A lot of bands had groovy mosh riffs. And that's kind of what we're going after.
Well, shit, there's definitely nothing wrong with thrashy mosh riffs,
Yeah.
other than the fact that I'm too old to get in a mosh pit anymore.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But we like to stay. We don't want to like pin ourselves down. We kind of want to be a little fluid and play a little different stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to just be the same boring thing over and over again.
So I think when we talk about that, like listen to the first album and then listen to the new album, it's not like it was like, oh, well, they're better than the first one. I think it was just a different, version of Methane. And like when I say that, I think that you guys could pull off either way. I mean, honestly, because I think both albums were great. So.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't know. The first album, I don't know. The first album, we didn't really get the mix we wanted on it. And I mean, the writing is, those are the first songs that we wrote together. So they're kind of simplistic in that, but it was fun.
Yeah, I still like the album though. I mean,
thanks, man. Thanks.
I would definitely, I always say it this way. When I listen to stuff, I was like, would I buy this? That's kind of what my thinking of is how I rate these albums when I do the reviews. Is like, would I buy this? Or 9 times out of 10, I'm already in process of purchase after the first listen, which I haven't gotten the new Methane, but I would definitely will have that soon. So
cool, man.
I would definitely buy both albums in a heartbeat. I absolutely would.
I'm still a hard copy guy, so I like to have the CD on hand too. So
me too.
Even with all the streaming services out there, I still like to have the CD in hand. So
yeah, it's fun. I'm a merchophile myself. I love T-shirts. That's my thing.
Yeah, and I do that too. I buy T-shirts everywhere. Every concert I go to, I like to. I got to have a T-shirt. So
yeah.
Which unless you're Gojira right now, I mean, you may not be able to afford theirs.
Oh yeah, well, we'll definitely get into that later. Yeah. I think Gojira is trying to negate that 20% fucking that 20% that the venues take.
Right.
God Almighty.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, it's not fun at all. So. Since we're on the topic for a minute, you guys have to worry about that shit over there. Like venues want, like, hey, you guys gotta give us some of your merch money.
Nah, not so much here. Europe's pretty cool with that stuff. I mean, you never know if you get on like a bigger tour. I mean, you can even have another band that says you can't sell your stuff. So you kind of got to watch out what you're doing. But
oh wow.
I mean, yeah. There's some
just
weirdos out there that think that's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, you just.
Well, I mean, that's how most of the bands are making their money is from merch. So I mean,
yeah, that's the only way we're making money.
Right? Yeah, you don't. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be the band that kept a band from making money. So.
Right.
Hell no. Can you see that comment? Tim,
kind of. Yeah, I'm kind of old and blind, but
I figure if nothing else, you can kind of read that at your leisure. That way I don't have to be there for everything. But I mean, but I'll read it into. So it says, hey brother, you're exactly 100% correct. I grew up on Pantera, Testament, Old Metallica, Slayer, Overkill, and I'll say Methane are like that in my opinion, which I'll agree. They're one of my favorite new bands, and yes, I remember Tim saying I don't like the first album.
yeah. Kevin asked me about it one time.
All right, so is Kevin someone that is Kevin an acquaintance of yours?
He's hanging out on our Facebook and talks to us sometimes,
Okay, so he's a fan. Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. I like to call people friends,
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're real active on our social media, we love to talk to people on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, YouTube. Yeah. We're always talking some shit somewhere.
Well, I mean, you kind of, it's one of those things you kind of have to keep up with. I mean, I personally, I wasn't like the biggest social media guy before this whole thing started. I mean, I had a Facebook page and everything where I would keep up with family and friends and stuff like that. But then, we started this thing, and we had a Facebook group, and then between Jason and I, we were like, we should probably get this and this and this and this. And then, even my kids were like, you know what you should do is you should get on TikTok. And I kind of fought that kicking and screaming for a while, but then I finally made one. So it's just,
I'm still avoiding that one, bro. But I kind of see it like, it's the same when we go and play gigs. We're always hanging out with people and meeting new people, and it's a lot of fun just to talk to people. And Facebook is the same way. I meet a lot of new people, a lot of new friends that way, and it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely makes the world a lot smaller, and I'm sure for someone like you who moved over there, it makes it easier to keep track of people back over here.
Sure.
So sure. I can, it's kind of one of those double-edged swords it can be sometimes, but it's got its benefits for sure. So.
Yeah. I know. There's a lot of crazy shit on Facebook too.
Oh well, yeah. There absolutely is.
If you use your brain, you can kind of see through a lot of it. So.
Yeah, I was trying to go back and find my review of the album, and I kind of got an Exodus or Creator vibe from it when I first listened to it. So, that kind of another couple bands that kind of fit in that same wheelhouse that everybody else is talking about. So,
oh yeah.
So,
yeah, great bands.
I could definitely agree with that.
And then like one of the things that I actually said about this album, I said, if you can keep your head still while listening to this, you need to check your pulse. So
yeah, no shit. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it needs to be part of one of those videos on YouTube, one of those try not to headbang challenge.
Yeah,
videos.
exactly. Yeah.
No, hell no.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna make it if you're listening to this record. So.
Yeah,
sweet.
I had to make sure when I was listening to it in my truck, I was paying attention to where the hell I was driving.
And you weren't speeding,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's I had to watch what I was doing, make sure I didn't have my foot in the gas too heavy because the police here locally are patrolling heavy now because of some accidents. But so.
Oh man, those are great, kind words you guys are saying, man. It's really fun to hear that people actually enjoy the album. It means a lot. We put a lot of we put time and effort into it, and then you put yourself out there and you feel so naked. It's like, oh no, everybody's gonna hate it. It's cool to hear this. You guys like it. It really makes me happy.
I think everybody that I've kind of turned on to the album, because I guess we got friends of ours that even bands that have been on the show that, put out every once in a while, say, hey man, what y'all listening to? And then I'll put out what I'm listening to, like, hey, this is what I listened to this week, and one of the bands even said, he said, oh dude, this album's killer. So they're a thrash band too, so over here in the States, so it's pretty cool to
sweet
to hear other bands give some pretty positive thoughts on the record too.
Yeah. So for two regular Joes over here in the United States, we're trying to do everything we can to get as much of the stories out as we can. So
that's amazing. It's amazing, really is.
Yeah. So
as far as like Methane coming up, do you guys have anything, any shows booked coming up or?
Yeah. April we're playing. Nervosa's playing in a festival in Norway. So on their way to the festival, on the way back from the festival, we're playing a couple gigs with them.
Oh, nice.
Here in Sweden.
Oh, cool. All right.
We played with Prika. We played with the first upset with the first Nervosa with Lyra back when we released Devil's Own.
Oh,
with them. We played with them down in Germany. I think we played with Warbringer then also. So that was really cool. So it's gonna be fun. Like we already know Prika. So we're going to play with them. We got some metal festival here in Sweden we're going to announce soon.
Cool.
Very
little
cool.
small gigs right now, and we are working on some bigger tours, hopefully at the end of it, maybe in the fall or something like that.
Very nice. Man, we've had some other bands on here talk about they've toured with Warbringer too. It seems like they're a hell of a band to tour with.
Yeah, we play like 1 or 2 gigs with them. I mean, really great guys, and they rip it up on stage, And so
I haven't had a chance to see them yet. I kind of hope I get to at some point. I haven't had a chance to see them yet. They were were actually through Nashville not too long ago.
Yeah, while I was in freaking Virginia, I was so
Right,
fucking,
yeah.
I was so fucking mad. I was like,
Yeah, so they were through here not too long ago, but I had already, because like Jason was gone and I had already had tickets for a couple other shows, so I was like short on funds. So 2022 over here in the States was like, Jesus, there's another one we got to buy. There's
Yeah.
another one. So,
It seems like it's doing that way again this year too. It's just like every
Yeah.
time
yeah, it's
I got like 3 or 4 pair of tickets, and then like this other band, like, oh, I was like, damn, like hell, I can
Like,
see all
There's
this shit. Like,
big problems in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
right,
which
yeah.
concert do I have to go to?
yeah, first world problems for sure. Yeah.
well, what's so bad is if what's so bad is if I buy a ticket to somebody I've seen before, but I know they put on a good show, so I go back, and watch them or whatever, and then somebody I haven't seen that's on my bucket list,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, hey, we're coming in April. I'm like, fuck. Like,
Man,
So
I
I
wish
gotta-
that was the
I gotta-
problem here.
I got to figure it out. It's like,
A lot of bands go through Europe, but I mean, like Sweden and Finland up here in the north is kind of hard to get to. It costs a little extra to go over the Baltic Sea and that kind of stuff, so they kind of avoid us a lot. So we don't get all the good concerts, And I live like 2 hours away from Stockholm, where everybody goes. So I really have to pick and choose which
Yeah.
shows I'm going to go to.
yeah. So then if you're doing something like that, you almost have to just stay the night over there somewhere and then come back.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no way around it. Don't want to be driving like 4 o'clock in the morning after
Right.
a gig.
Which we've done it. We me and Chris have took some road trips and done that
Yeah.
ourselves over
Yeah.
here, but we've had 2 or 3 hour drives and one way.
Well, hell, I remember. Well, that Metallica show we went to in Atlanta back in 2019.
yeah.
We drove back from Atlanta that night. I think we
Yeah.
got back. Let's see, it's 4.5 hours from Atlanta to here. So I think we got back at like 3 a.m. I think it was.
I don't know. It was like way later for me because my ass got tired and had to pull over in a Walmart parking lot and nap. So
Yeah, I've done that.
I was like, man, we should just got a room, man. Fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had already spent the weekend there, so we kind of ended our
Right,
weekend in
yeah.
Atlanta with the show and just drove back that night. But thankfully, if I would have gotten tired, my wife would have just drove because we've been back and forth to Atlanta a few times over the years for shows. So yeah, we're definitely not averse to driving if we have to. But does it actually make it a little bit more difficult over there because there aren't like, I don't know what the highway situation is like over there, but are there like interstates over there? Anything equivalent?
Oh
out there
yeah.
in Scandinavia?
Oh
Are there?
yeah.
Okay.
We have big highways here.
Okay, I
Absolutely.
didn't know. I was kind of ignorant.
The
to
more north in Sweden you go, the less populated it is, the smaller the roads are. But I mean, you got the Autobahn in Germany. You can drive as fast as you want, 4
that.
lanes.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a bucket list trip I want to take.
Yeah.
Just-
Damn, because damn, Chris, you think they're a little house on the prairie over there or something?
well, no, but no, of course not. But,
Like horse and
I mean,
buggy. I'll take my horse and buggy over to the next town. And,
no, I mean,
load the
Fast
gear
as
in the
I
wagon. Load the gear in the wagon.
they got to do everything by water, and they got to go around the horn. So I mean, they got to do everything by water. They got to get in the rowboats.
Yeah, got a two goated mission over there. So
That's right.
we joke. We know everybody's kind of everybody's should be pretty much into the same phase of technology. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that kind of goes worldwide. So.
There's no difference.
If not, you're not making any money. So.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I moved out here, people were like, "Oh, do you have microwave ovens? Do you have running water?" Yeah, of course we do. I mean, we live in a cave. Everything's pretty much the same, I mean,
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Well, I mean, what was the biggest culture shock for you when you got over there?
Yeah, I guess I would say language and food.
Well, I mean, what's your favorite Swedish food at this point?
I don't know, man. I miss American food. Like here they eat meatballs, but it's like with brown gravy and mashed potatoes instead of tomato sauce and spaghetti. It's kind of like that. It's little nuances. Pizzas aren't like the size of a house. They're the size of a small plate, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got personal pizzas over there. Okay.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they're a lot smaller, thin crusts
Oh,
kind of
okay.
thing.
All right.
Swedish
Well,
pancakes are really thin, like crepes, So I got to teach them how to make pancakes when I go to work and stuff like that. That's how you make a pancake.
Hell yeah, dude.
You put the syrup on it.
Yeah, lots of it. You got to stack them up, and you got to douse them. Hell yeah, you do.
Right.
and then you take a 4-hour nap when you're done.
Exactly.
So I mean, syrup's one of the 4 food groups, man.
Right. So there's like nuances in the foods, but I mean, there's not. I don't know. Culture is different. I don't know how to explain it.
So pretty much what you're saying, they got kind of the same foods, they just do it in a different way.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like with sauces and spices and stuff.
I mean, there's some crazy Swedish foods like these raw fish and canned pickled herring that they eat that stink, and I don't know. You gotta watch the YouTube videos, man. It's hilarious. But they have a fish here that they once a year, it's like a tradition. You're supposed to eat this fish, and it's a pickled herring that's kept in a can. It's rotten. And so when you open this can, you can smell it like 3-4 blocks away. It's disgusting, man. And you're supposed to eat it. I don't know. I never ate it. I never will. But I've seen some really good YouTube videos of Americans eating it. It's hilarious. Like, oh man.
I was about to say, I was about to say, Tim, I noticed you said there's a fish that they eat.
Yeah, you said they eat
them.
Yeah, no, they do it.
They do it.
No,
we get those 2 guys to try that. What's that 2 guys that always eat that crazy stuff on YouTube? I can't remember. My son watches that stuff, and they're like eating all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, probably one of those videos.
Probably, yeah. I can't remember like the guy's name. It was like 2 guys, and they do like a challenge of trying different foods like that.
Yeah.
So
don't eat the fish.
Yeah. So do the other guys in the band ever give you shit about like stuff like that? That's like, you're an American, you're a pussy, you won't eat these fish.
Yeah, they won't eat the fish either.
No, they
don't either.
They're just big pussies to me. Like
I like that.
Yeah. Wow.
I like that. Okay, so the album itself, you said you guys went the traditional route and everything. So where exactly was where exactly did the album get finished over there?
Where? Well, we have a buddy that actually he built like a studio from scratch, from the ground up, a real professional recording studio. It's beautiful. It's called Cell Noise Studios. It's in Sällnäs, Sweden. So he's been recording us for a long time, and since he's our friend, we get a little. Can take a little extra time in the studio, and he also is kind of our producer. So he tells us like, oh, that riff doesn't work, dude. You gotta scrap that, or you got to make that song shorter, or sing it like this instead of like that. Some kind of like a fifth member of the band almost. helps us, come out of our little ego rabbit hole that we were looking through, and can see it from another perspective, and give us some advice. It's really nice.
Yeah, a lot of our interviews have said something like that. It kind of helps to have kind of like a little bit of more of an unbiased ear. That way, you're not, they don't have any of the rose-colored glasses on, and they think, all right, well, this song is done. Let's just record it and put it out. And so you got someone's like, well, why don't you do this and maybe try that? And then it can put things into maybe a little bit of a a different perspective for you. So we've had a lot of our a lot of our guests say the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's important, you know. We've got a couple. We got Jonas, and then I have another friend, Patrick, that I always let him listen to the stuff too, because he's not afraid to tell me, dude, you suck, or you know, that sucks, or whatever. So I appreciate it, you know, because it's from it. You sit there and you write the song, and you hear it 100 million times. It stops even sounding like a song after a while, you know.
Yeah.
You don't really know. You're in your own little bubble, in your own. And see it just through the monocle.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
like you say, you get tunnel vision, or you get blinders on, or something like that.
Totally.
Yeah, so all right.
I really appreciate that, to have people like that around that can say, nah, don't do that, or try that, or
Could be like an old, one of the bands we talked to. It's like they were listening to that song. He's like, man, it's missing something. Throw a violin or something in there. Like, what? Yeah, it's a metal song, but it worked. So I mean,
sure, why not? Other people have other ideas that you might never think about. You know,
right?
It can totally work.
Sure. Well, I've heard that, like me, you know, not just with that band, but I've heard it with multiple bands. Like they'll add like a little bit of something, like an instrument or something that you wouldn't normally even associate with metal. I'm just like, what? Right. And then you'll hear it. Like when I listen to an album, I'll hear something. Sometimes I'm like, wait, what instrument was that? You know, and then, you know, it's kind of like a, you know, you hear, like, I don't even remember what the little thing is called, but I remember somebody we talked to was talking about the little handheld thing, and you just spin it and it makes a noise, you know, and that's what they were using. Now I'm like, what? That's what that was? I was like,
hanging out with a kazoo.
Well, I mean, our friends in Devil, you know, they had that one song where they had the saxophone in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, but it added, you know, it's something that sets a song apart, or even an album apart, depending on how many times it's used. And then but it definitely, in the moment, you know, especially like if you're doing something, like if you're listening to something while you're driving, all of a sudden you'll hear that and you'll be like, okay, that's pretty awesome, you know, because it adds a new element. So
it might be one of those things that you don't even notice till the 5th or 6th time you hear the album. You start noticing little small stuff, you know, like, oh, whoa, what was that? It's kind of fun.
Yeah. But it's good because it makes that distinct, and you kind of remember those little moments.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah. All right.
Then you're like, hey, I want to bring this album out so I can hear that.
Hell yeah. All right. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Because this is a freaking stellar album cover. And album art is one of the things that, of course, we know a lot of people do, but that's one of the things that Jason and I, we kind of, one of the things we really enjoy. You know, on top of the music itself, we really like to see what the artwork looks like, because and people who have watched the show before are gonna kind of maybe roll their eyes at this, because I've said it a million times, but you know, we think, you know, Jason and I, we are of the opinion that there's not another genre of music out there that can hold a candle to hard rock and heavy metal as far as album artwork goes. We don't think it's even close. So that's kind of one of the things we like to pay attention to. And when we notice an album cover that's done this well, we like to at least shout it out, so, you know, credit can be given to where it's due. So
yeah, cool. You know, I mean, yeah. Album art has always been cool. I remember being a kid and going to the record store and looking through the records, and you bought the album just because of the cover.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa, I've never heard it before, but whoa, look at that cover. I gotta have that. That must be badass.
I've done it. Yeah, I've absolutely done it.
So it was great also to be able to release this as on a vinyl, so that then you can get the art in a bigger format too. Eka Saputra, from I think his company's called Psycho Art. He's from Indonesia. He's done our Thin the Herd cover. He's done Declare Chaos cover, and then he did this cover. Awesome dude to have to work with. He gets ideas, you know. We talk a little bit of ideas, and he makes the stuff pretty quick. He did an awesome job on this. I don't know what more to say about it. We were when we saw it, we were just like, yeah.
There you go, man.
That's
There you go.
metal. I love that. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, hell, it doesn't need to be. Oh well, they don't have super great pictures. The other ones, I was gonna put the other ones up on the screen here. Let's see what else we got. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. There we go. There's Thin the Herd.
Right.
That's badass too.
That is bad.
Yeah, he's great, man.
A bunch of zombies on their phones. I can kind of.
Well, I mean, that's how everybody is. I mean, technology zombified people, man. Like,
yeah, I can kind of relate. I'm working on kind of making sure I don't have my face in a phone all day anymore. I've been bad about it. I'll admit, I've been bad.
Well, I mean, I've been bad because some people's like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No, hell, I don't know nothing about that." And
yeah.
like, oh, maybe it's like everywhere. I'm just like, well, yeah. Unless it's in my 15-minute look through Facebook or something.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of the news. Of course, I kind of block a lot of it out anyway because news isn't news like when we grew up. So
no. Well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
It's all editorials now. So
I mean, I sit down and actually like watch the news on TV. I never do that shit. I tell you what, though. The guy that gentleman who does your guys' art, he does everything well, but man, can he fucking do fire?
Yeah.
He does.
Really stands out.
He does flame effects amazingly well.
Which kind of benefits them with a name like Methane. So
right.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
it's better than a cow fart, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, it's kind of my because I told my wife, I said, yeah, because she's always like, well, who do you guys have coming on the show this week? She goes, we have Methane coming on. She goes, they do know what methane is, right? And I was like, I'm sure they. I kind of laughed. I said, I'm sure they know what methane is, babe. So, but I mean, where did the name of the band come from?
Well, methane is actually just a natural gas, It's
right?
Not a fart.
Yeah.
So all the fart jokes, I just think they stink. All right. I've heard them all about 100,000 times. So. Yeah, I mean, to make a band name nowadays, it's really hard to find something that nobody else has.
That's true.
I was sitting around by my kitchen stove, I think, smoking a cigarette or something and trying to figure out a band name. And I got the Methane stuck in my head. So I started Google searching it and, Metal Encyclopedia. I checked it out and didn't find anything else. So that was my suggestion that we went with that.
I mean, like you said, all jokes aside, but I mean, it actually is a pretty badass name. I mean, if we're being 100% honest, it really is a cool name. So, and
they're cool that they have 7 letters because they can make the H kind of.
I was
stand out.
Right. I was actually just about to bring up the font. Is that a font you came up with when you came?
Yeah, I drew the original and then. Well, it was kind of crooked and sideways. So,
but you had the basic idea.
Yeah. So over the years, we've had it straightened out by a few guys that can really do stuff like that.
I laugh, but I would have had to do the same thing. I can't draw to save my life. I'd be like, well, I want it to look like this if someone cannot be shitty at it. So I mean, yeah.
Right. I love to draw too, but I mean, I'm not taking the ruler out and measuring stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but yeah, it does. Like Jason said, it does help. You can make the H the focal point of the whole thing. It splits it in half. I'm huge on symmetry anyway. That's kind of one of my. It's not. Cool. I'm not quite OCD about it. It doesn't keep me up nights or anything. But so
well, it's just like
thankfully it doesn't keep me up nights. So
it's like you got that. You got stuff like that you want to kind of jump out at you when you're looking at names and album covers and stuff. So you kind of want that in a position of where it jumps out at you. And I think that definitely does that with I think. Even if you just had Methane out there on a black and white album, it would still stick out just because of the way the H is kind of bringing the whole name out to you. And it's like, hey, this is who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean,
Yeah, I love
it's,
it.
it's
Well,
good to have a logo that doesn't look like everybody else's anyway.
Well,
Right.
it definitely has a great flow to it. It absolutely does. Yeah, absolutely. Ace said, "Fun facts about Chris." Yeah, I guess so. Need that little old fashioned little rainbow banner above my head. The more you know.
The more you know, yeah.
I've got a question in the chat. And actually we were gonna get to this, but yes, something from the home office. I love calling it that. It's fucking hilarious. How excited were you when you landed the endorsement with Skull Strings?
Yeah, it's great. They're really good strings. I've actually been playing them for a while before we got the endorsement, and they sound the strings I'm using are steel strings, so they're a little brighter, and I put a little distortion on them. They get such a really cool sound. I love it. So when they hooked us up with the endorsement, we were just over the moon, or what you're going to say. It was great. Awesome strings, cheap. You can't complain about that.
When you got quality and cheap together, that's you don't get that a lot. So.
I don't know. You don't even get Skull Strings over in the States, probably, right? It's a French company, so.
Honestly, I'd have to look into that, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I did see, I saw it earlier in the week, with on the socials. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to check the availability over here.
Yeah.
But.
Otherwise, you can get them on our Bandcamp. That's cool.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
And I think even with shipping, it's still cheaper than a dozen of eggs over here. So
yeah,
probably. Yeah, probably.
I can send some eggs for you too.
Yeah, order some eggs with a side of skull strings. Yeah,
skull strings. You get an egg per string. So
right.
How many kroner is a dozen eggs over there?
Yeah, I mean eggs are cheap over here. I don't know what's going on with your chickens.
Well, supposedly they had like this big bird flu thing. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been months. It's been months ago now, but
nobody's seen it.
No. Yeah, nobody's seen it, or any of the the old school farmers said anything about it. So
right. That's weird, man.
It's another government push over here. We think.
Yeah,
it's a money grab. It's all a money grab.
Yeah, that's why we. I tell people stories from back in the '80s. I remember growing up in like coffee. I remember my mom bitching about coffee back in the '80s. Like, oh man, this shit's like crazy now. It used to be like $2.50 a can, and now it's like $5 and shit. Then it went, and then like the whole the whole thing kind of went away where they kind of could supply and demand again, and they just kept the price. They never like lowered it because everybody's already used to paying it now. So,
right.
That's
what's going to happen again, man. That's what's going to happen again. I'm sure of it.
Yes. Yeah.
We're stuck with $5, a dozen for eggs, probably. So
yeah,
I mean, they locked everybody up in China, so nobody can make anything.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And then Russia's at war, and nobody's buying their oil, so oil's going up.
Yeah.
I mean, all the prices of everything is just going up like this, and they're not going to drop that stuff.
No.
Hell no, man. Savings never get passed along to the consumer. It just ends up being more profits and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shit, this is evolving into a Politica Shock episode. Dan,
I know, right?
Dan's probably frothing at the mouth right now.
It's a money grab. Power the people.
Yeah.
Oh God! Now he is going to jump in the chat.
You just gave Dan a boner.
Yeah,
he's probably going to jump in the show any second now. So hey, which he knows he's welcome to do anytime anyway. But
he kind of created a platform because of that, because he was doing a lot of shows on on another platform and kept getting like silenced and stuff. And he's just like, oh hell no! Like, we're in America with freedom of speech, brother. We're not doing that. So
that's part of that's actually another part of the reason why we actually came over to this platform, because we can talk about and say whatever we want. So that was kind of we're not edited or censored by anything. So,
and unfortunately for us, a lot of times when he gets in trouble with the platform, we kind of get in trouble. We don't even have
Well, that
anything
is
to do
true.
with it. We don't even have anything to do with the politics side. We're like, hey, man, what's
Yeah.
up, man? We're just trying to produce some music here, man.
Yeah,
we're trying to turn people on to new bands here. We're not doing any of that shit.
Yeah,
All
we've
Dan's
been
fault.
yeah we've been hit by a little bit of shrapnel, but stuff like that.
But we just it's easier easy to get around. We just go out and create our own YouTube channels and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we don't get mad when he does. So.
Yeah, Ace says that stringsbymail.com seems to be the only place where we can get them over here. So
Okay.
it's aside from your guys' Bandcamp.
And-
So
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean,
methane.bandcamp.com. You can go in and buy some drinks.
Yeah. Do it from there. So Methane gets the
Yeah,
credit. For it.
awesome strings.
hell yeah. Hook the band up. Definitely hook the band up. So, well, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, where else can people? Yeah, there it is, right there. There it is, right there. So, where else can? Of course, the album is on Bandcamp. Is that the
Right.
exclusive place to get it?
Yeah. You can get it direct from me if you have PayPal. Just hit me up
There
on
you
Messenger
go.
or something.
Okay.
We have everything sitting in my house. So, yeah.
Oh, so you can.
Bandcamp. We have all our physical stuff on Bandcamp. It's easier to buy it.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, all the money, well, the majority of the money goes to the band like it should. So yeah.
Right. Bandcamp takes a little percent out of the sales. from
Yeah,
us.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Um,
Yeah, that's understandable. But
So that's why people can also go to just talk to me or do it through PayPal. But, our music's out on Spotify and YouTube
Yes,
and
Mhm.
everything
it
else
is.
like that. So
yep, both of the LPs are. Yep.
Since we're
LPs.
talking about the guitar strings, I want to get into some of the guitars you have on your wall there. So, so
Yeah, let's get a gear show. Let's do that.
let's see what I got here. Let's see what you can see here. I've got 2 Ernie Ball basses here. This is my Epiphone. What are you? My Epiphone Explorer.
nice. I like
Very
that
nice.
one.
Yeah, I've been looking for one of those for years, and finally found one in England and had it sent over here, and it's hanging on my wall. Yeah, I love it. It sounds great, and it plays really awesome. What's the Epiphone T-Bird, Thunderbird? I don't. Can you see what I'm doing?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right.
Here was the bass I play with mostly in Revenant. It's sound gear. Ibanez sound gear. I broke
Nice.
the neck, so it just kind of hangs here and
I
I don't know, takes up space.
Had to be retired, huh?
Yeah, a couple normal guitars with too many strings. There's a acoustic and a
too many strings.
yeah.
He sound like me. He sounded like me when I was forming a band at 15. They were like, "What do you want to play?" I said, "Bass," because I don't want to play strings or nothing.
Right. I got my Ibanez Destroyer that I usually use. That's out in our rehearsal studio.
Okay.
But,
So do you have like your very first guitar you ever owned? You still have that or no?
yeah, that's the Ibanez that I
Okay.
usually use. I still use it's my main guitar.
Nice.
Bought it it's a 1983. I bought it new.
Wow.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and it still
Of course,
works.
it's
Sounds
probably made better than anything you'd buy now too. So.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say 40-year-old
cars and
guitar.
everything else when you come to that. But.
Probably, yeah.
So I love that. I love that guitar, man. That thing's been with me my whole life.
There you go. Kevin says, "Hey Tim, do me a favor since I don't use PayPal. Can you send me a download code for the album? I'd greatly appreciate it. I want to add it to my personal Bandcamp collection." And he says he'll hit you up on Messenger later. So
Yeah, talk to me later, Kevin.
yeah, there you go. There you go, Kevin. He'll definitely get you hooked up. Absolutely.
He's like, "Damn, we're asking favors on live TV. What's wrong with
So,
you?" Now everybody's gonna want it.
yeah.
Right?
Well, hey, that's what we want. We want everybody to buy the album. So hell yeah, dude.
Well, I like the nice surprises. So when I do buy from the guest, I get like a personal note and some extra shit in an envelope. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's happened to me a few times. I was like, okay, I was only expecting one CD, but okay, what is this?
Right?
Yeah,
No, but
I get like a care package. I'm like, hell, I like this.
Mhm.
Yeah, we usually throw in little stickers and buttons and that kind of
hell
stuff.
yeah.
You know.
There you go.
I love getting that kind of stuff too. It's fun.
Yeah, I do too. I got poster boards from when I'm actually working on trying to get a office built just where I can leave everything up and do this out there. So I'm not invading somebody's bedroom. So
Yeah.
It's I got like poster boards where I got all these stickers on there that I've collected throughout
Right.
the years on there. So that's going to be my background at some point whenever I get
Yeah,
that
cool.
done. So
Well, yeah, Jason, you need a patch for your battle vest too. So.
yeah. There you go.
All right, Tim. Well, what we're going to do now is we always, at some point during our live interviews, we like to ask for. Well, actually, let me ask you this first before we get to that. You've been over in Sweden for, you said what, 22 years now? That's how long you've been there?
About around that, yeah. Right.
Roughly. Okay. So ideally, if it gets to it, I want to make the assumption that at some point you guys would like to get over here to play some shows with Methane, correct?
Sure. Yeah, we've done that before. We played California.
Oh, have you? Okay. I was gonna
both East and West Coast.
Okay, I was gonna ask that next, when the last time it was that you were over here, but okay,
Yeah.
you answered the question for me. Okay, all right, cool. So, all right, well then, piggybacking off of that, we like to get road stories.
Okay.
So, whether it's something from Methane or Revenant or whatever, we want some road stories if you feel like sharing any of those.
Yeah, road stories. I don't know. I'm sure there's a million. I mean, going on the road is just a big story. It's one crazy thing that happens after the other. I mean, we've wrecked a bus in a big pile of snow in Norway, and
no.
Yeah, driving home at really late at night, and it's dark up here and ice and back road from in the hills of Norway. It was kind of drove off the road into snow. We've had crazy people just kind of jump in the bus and I don't know, man.
Golly, man.
I mean, I don't know. Man, I should have. If you had given me some time to think about it, I could really come up with it. We've really had some. It's always something crazy that happens. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of.
It's kind of the norm.
Yeah, we kind of do that on purpose to see if there's anything that really sticks out. It's like,
that clicks.
Yeah. Oh shit! You remember that with this when this happened and stuff like that. So.
All right. Well, I mean, I can sit around with Jimmy and we can start talking about stuff, and he'll bring up, "Oh, remember when that happened?" It's like, "Oh my god, holy shit!" I mean, now I'm thinking of Jimmy when we played in Denver at the high dive in Denver. Jimmy was out doing an interview with some dude outside, and some chick just jumps in the middle and pulls off her shirt. It's shit like that happens all the time.
Yeah. And did you have to tell him that's America? We have so many whores here. So I mean,
we're doing an interview at 6.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, here's the time, here's the place. Just show up. It's totally fine.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of scary though. If you're over in that area and then your bus starts sliding and shit. I mean, to me, anytime that somebody brings that up, you automatically think about Cliff Burton and the accident over there. We'll say ice like that because we really don't know. But
yeah.
Oh, it probably was. I mean, I've been down there where the buses crashed. It's a
really
little side road, yeah. So, it was kind of scary. I don't know. It was cold, and we got to stand out there. And then it's in the middle of the woods. There's no we weren't near any kind of town or where anybody lived. And then all of a sudden, a tractor just comes driving by.
Tractor.
Yeah, tractor comes driving by, pulls us out. You know, we gave him a couple dollars. Like, thanks. He's like, yeah, no problem.
That's probably all he does is just ride around pulling people out of ditches all night. That's wild.
Well, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I'm in the winter. I'm sure there's probably some sort of modest living that can be made like that, because a lot of the roads up there are kind of curvy and windy, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, this road, like, we took it deliberately. It was like a kind of a back road up to Norway, and it's like, I think it's actually a dirt road in the summer, so it was kind of dumb on our part to take such a rural route, you know, with nobody living there. We just wanted to glide through.
So Methane, the band that takes the roads less traveled.
That's right. Hell yeah, dude.
For real.
Oh, wow.
Kevin says you'll never be lonely on whores.com. Don't go to that website, kids. Don't do that.
Yeah, do not.
No.
Get your parents' permission first.
Thanks.
Awesome. Very awesome. All right. Well, Tim, I never did get that water. Shit. All right. Well, Tim, man, we won't keep you any longer on your Saturday evening there. You know, we know you're hanging out at home and everything, but we won't keep you any longer, bud. We appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday to come spend it with us and sit down and chat with us for a little bit. Before you go, you want to give any of the socials or anything? We've already talked about Bandcamp, so you want to give any of the socials a plug before you take off?
Before I go, I really want to say it was really awesome hanging out and talking to you guys. A lot of fun.
Yeah, we greatly
I hope
appreciate
we can do it again. Maybe we can do it live sometime. You know?
Man, we would love nothing more, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. If there's a Methane show anywhere near here, my ass will be there. So
great, man. And we'll hang out.
We'll
talk.
I won't circle fit or nothing because I'm a 18 year pro wrestler, so my back's fucked up. But
yeah,
okay,
yeah. And I've got
but I'll be in the back, double warning you.
Yeah, exactly.
We can get wheelchairs for all you guys, and it's gonna be like a circle wheel.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah.
That works awesome. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's another one. During Corona, when they were releasing the restrictions here, we had concerts that you could only sit down. You weren't allowed to stand.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So we actually had a seated mosh pit.
Wow.
How the hell did that work?
Yeah, moving their
jump around with a chair.
Interesting. Okay.
I would like to see a video of that.
I would too, actually.
I don't know how much of the spread of Corona that stopped, but
Zero.
Zero.
No, zero.
Because whenever I was in the medical field formerly, so that's the first thing I said is like, when they come out with all this stuff, I was just like, the fuck, man? Did they not realize what the fuck virology is? I mean, what the fuck is all this shit gonna do?
No.
Like every time they was like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. I said, well, that shit ain't gonna stop it. Like,
you have to sit in a chair. You can't stand next to each other. Okay.
Yeah, they were. They were literally throwing shit against the wall to see what would stick.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, hey, at least the people are gonna be stupid enough to buy into this, but.
Sweden, we just kind of went. We didn't have any masks or anything. It was just like, okay,
yeah. Sweden was just like, man,
we don't. Yeah,
Sweden was like, oh, who gives a fuck? It's going.
Cough on each other.
Might as well go on and get it over with because you're going to catch. I mean, that's the truth, though. I mean, you're going to catch it regardless. Might as well just go and get it over with. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had
it's kind of like when you had chickenpox as a kid. Your mom sent you over to play with the chickenpox kid.
Right?
So,
exactly.
Go over there and play with the chickenpox kid. Like what?
Yeah, get it, and get it out of the way. Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Absolutely.
But, yeah, guys, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely. If we don't get to see you live or something in the meantime, when you guys work on something new, we'll definitely have you back on to kind of promote that too.
Cool, man.
Absolutely.
I'll stay like me. I'm like, of course, it's getting harder for me to do, but I still try to stay in contact with everybody that we talk to. It's just like, hey, man, how's everything going? And just kind of check in with everybody. We're going on 2 years of doing this, so it's kind of getting where it's kind of hard to remember
Yeah,
who I talked to last.
Yeah,
I have to go through my stuff because I talk to people on different avenues too. It's like some people only email, and then some people like are only on Instagram,
Facebook, and so it's getting to be, and I hate this because they say it at work all the time, and it pisses me off, but it's actually getting to be a pretty good problem to have, is having such a long list of people that we've talked to and friends we've made and everything else. Kind of like you said, Tim, you talk to the bands and everything, and then you end up being, friends and all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it works out for everybody, and
that's great.
So we appreciate it. So
that's great, and we're on all the socials, so you can't miss me, dude.
Right.
There you go.
Just hit me up. Hey Tim, what up?
Yeah, and I will say it was like really kind of refreshing to like when I messaged you the first time, it was just like it wasn't long after that. I was like, I said, oh damn, that was fast, but so I was like really impressed with how fast it got back to me. So, and I appreciate it.
Cool,
so, most people's real busy and stuff. So I don't, I usually reach out and say, hey, just whenever you get a chance. So, sometimes it's days, but that was, actually, I don't remember the actual time frame, but it was pretty relevant.
I'm one of those zombies on the cover with the face on the telephone,
Exactly. Yeah, man. Well, we really do appreciate you taking your time out of your Saturday afternoon over there to chat with us.
Guys, we appreciate you guys taking your time out for checking out the album and giving us time on your platform to talk about it. It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing.
That's what we love to do, man. We love to get get this stuff out in front of people's faces because you can't always depend on the Spotify's and stuff like that to play you on a loop. So we like to make sure everybody knows about all these great bands that are out there. And like we don't get to talk to everybody we want to talk to, and then of course so I mean there's a lot of time restrictions with who we can and can't talk to, which is it's fine. We understand that. So, but it is cool to get we were able to get out who we can in front of everybody, because I think that's the real big thing right now. Is I don't think that everybody's doing these things are more of I wonder if I can get Metallica on, or and we're not like that, because we know Metallica don't need our help. So it's like we want to get these bands out here that we think need to be heard more. So
that's great, man. That's great.
So we definitely
thank you so much.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we see on there as far as shows or anything like, because we got a lot of people that listen to us over in that area too, so we'll definitely share that on our socials and stuff too, man, to make sure you guys can benefit from it as much as possible. So
that's great, man. Oh, we really appreciate it. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we gotta help each other, man. That's how it works. So.
That's right. Metal family.
We all grow together. So
yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, Tim Scott from Methane, everybody. Check out the new album, Kill It With Fire, and check out the first album, The Devil's Own. They're both available on Spotify, and check out their merch and their content over at their Bandcamp page. All the socials, every single one of them.
Just a heads up that the next message you get is probably going to be wanting the album. So
probably.
I do have PayPal and stuff, so I'll be like, hey, man,
I have it too. Yeah, I have it too.
Great.
All right, Tim. Well, we appreciate you, man. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your weekend, man.
Yeah. Same to you guys.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, man.
Take care. Tim Scott, everybody.
Awesome, man. I love those just down to earth guys in these bands, man. It's like, you just can't beat it. Like,
no,
like that's one of the guys I could sit in a bar and talk to him like 4 hours about his music.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And it's kind of the one thing, like the one thing we've experienced with every single band that's come on here. Of course, we're working on some bands right now, but everyone that we understand the bands we're working together with, but all of the bands that we've come on here, like you said, everyone's down to earth and cool and chill and
Yeah.
everything. But we haven't had to jump through any hoops to get any of these guys to come on here. Tim was just chilling out at home.
Yeah.
He took 90 minutes out of his day to come chat with us. So we've had 90-minute interviews, we've had 3-hour interviews, we've had 3.5-hour interviews. So I mean, there's no time, there's no minimum time, there's no maximum time. I mean, everyone just kind of it's very casual and laid back and chill and everything. So
it is harder. It is harder to keep these guys from over there on here 3 or 4 hours because they're like you said, they're late in their evening, and we don't want to keep them 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And,
right.
And I think it was Avarice, right? That had their kids were like coming around and stuff like, oh man, I felt bad. I was just like, hey man, we'll let you go.
Yeah, it was.
So that's
it was
more important than talking to us. But
yeah. So, but I mean, like I say, we and like I say, there are a couple of bands that we're working on where we're dealing with PR people and stuff like that. But I mean, those bands, those bands are, I guess you could say they're arguably maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit busier. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense because then you got to line up schedules and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as being outright rejected because like we're too small or anything, we haven't dealt with any of that shit. Nothing. Right. We haven't dealt with any of that, which is nice. But
well, I mean, you haven't.
Well, what have you?
Well, yeah, I had one band was just like, well, I was looking at YouTube and you only have this many subscribers. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that band.
I said, that's because we go to 140 platforms, dude. We don't depend on YouTube.
I forgot about that band. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad.
Hey, they're the one missing out. So,
hey, they are.
Like I said, this platform isn't for us. It's for, those guys to promote their stuff. And, us to, I mean, we enjoy talking about it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not, and yeah, I guess it does kind of help us in the long run, but.
Oh,
it's
sure.
It's mainly to push their music out there so people can actually it's like know they exist. So.
Yep. Yeah. It ends up being kind of a symbiotic relationship, because we enjoy talking to the bands just because we enjoy talking to them, but but like you've always said, we're trying to build a name for ourselves, but we're trying to build a name for ourselves and also at the same time bring some of these bands along with us who don't get, who definitely don't get enough exposure. So that's that's basically what we're trying to do, so but like you said, it does help us out. We don't talk numbers on here too much, but we're averaging 7 figures a week now, which is nice, but that's actually, so that's kind of a byproduct of coming on here and having fan bases that do exist for these bands already. So we're trying to help expand those fan bases, and hopefully we're doing that. Kevin, I got this. I appreciate the comment on my shirt. Jason actually has the exact same one.
Yeah.
We got these last year on the Bay Strikes Back tour, the Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel tour that went around last week. Jason and I actually went to see them in Chattanooga and Nashville, so we went to see them twice. Yeah. And that's where we picked these up. So we appreciate that. The Titans of Creation album cover was badass too. So
But in all honesty, if we knew about the national show, we probably wouldn't have went to the Chattanooga one. But
you're probably right. But hey, you're probably right.
I don't regret it at all.
I was just about to say the same thing. I have no regrets about going twice.
I would see that lineup 100 times, dude. Like, that like, just those 3 bands together are just fucking awesome, dude.
Well, dude, it was $30 to see those 3 bands. It was $30 I mean, you want to talk about bang for your buck. I mean, there you go. I mean, it was perfect. And then Ace, how do we come across these up and coming bands? Well, we have part of it is we have a website that we go to. It's called I take that back. We have 2 websites actually. We have a website called Heavy Music HQ, and they have a weekly new release calendar. that lists all of the albums that come out every Friday. And for our album review segment, Jason and I, we pick at least one album. That I just got Jason's message on. I just got Jason's message says gotta pee, LOL. So, but anyway, so every Friday there's a list of new releases that come out on heavymusichq.com. So Jason and I, for our album review segment, we pick at least one each. And what we try to do is we try to pick a band that we have never heard of personally. And, so Methane was actually Jason's pick, I think, from approximately 3 weeks ago. That was one of the new albums that he listened to, and he did a review on it for the album review segment, and he turned me onto it, which, in turn, obviously I listened to it. And then when he reached out for an interview, they accepted the request, and here we are. So it starts with heavymusichq.com and the new release list. And then when, we listen to an album that we're going to do for review, we go to Encyclopedia Metallum, which is basically a heavy metal. It's called the Metal Archives. And so we go there to do some follow-up research on the band. And then, obviously if a band has their own social media and their own personal websites and stuff like that, we do, more in-depth research there. But it basically starts on heavymusichq.com because, every Friday here in the United States, when all of the new music comes out, we're like, okay, what's new this week? Who are you going to listen to? That way we don't have any crossovers. We don't end up doing our formal reviews on the exact same bands. And then, so that's where it starts. Obviously there's bigger, more mainstream bands, obviously that come out with new music every week too, and those bands are on the list. But for our album review segment, we make sure that we pick bands that are new to us. They may not be new in general, because like we've said before, we're just a couple of dudes with regular everyday jobs, so we don't unfortunately get to sit around and listen to music all day. So we obviously can't listen to everybody. So even if a band has been around 10, 15, or in the case of Onslaught, damn near 40 years, sometimes we do end up stumbling upon artists that have been around for a while, that are 6, 8, 10 albums into their career. And it just so happens that we, for whatever reason, just never had a chance to hear them. So that's where it starts, really. So.
So it's cool. It's cool that and I think it's cool that we're able to get bands on like Methane and Zilu and all these guys that are in debut or second albums.
Yes,
they're young into their career, so hopefully we're able to push them out a little bit more, where they're not. I'm sure every band's going to be 10 albums deep, and somebody new is going to hear about them. I mean, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying, like, being into the genre of music we are, and listening to a band that we're surprised that we haven't heard of them yet, especially if they've been 40 years in their career, like you said, on slides. Like, how in the hell did we miss that? Like, but it's, Angela Sapotrita was kind of the same way. Like, we didn't know them until their last album, and their self-titled album, and like they had 4 other albums before that. So now we are massive Angela Sapotrita,
right? Yeah, massive Angela Sapotrita fans.
Huge. And I think kind of Warbringer was kind of like that too. Where we kind of discovered them with one of their albums, and then go back and listen to all their other catalog. Like, oh fuck, how do we miss this band? Like Warbringer's one of the bands. On my bucket list. So.
Yeah. Yeah. When Remain Violent came out off of Woe to the Vanquish, when that came out, that was kind of the catalyst for us kind of discovering Warbringer. But like you said, Warbringer had been out for a while. It just so happened that they just kind of hadn't been introduced to us yet. So, So yeah, especially with, and we've referenced, this is something we've also referenced on the show before, the worldwide influence that heavy metal has. Even if we had 8-10 hours a day to sit around and listen to music, I still don't think we would ever come close to being able to listen to everybody. It's just so it's just so widespread, the influence. It's not it's not kind of like a focused, concentrated genre of music. Where like here in the United States, here in the US, I mean, I'm sure you would find country music in some other countries, but by and large, country music is here.
Right.
It's basically here.
Yeah, down the road.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Like really down the road.
Yeah, really.
For us, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an hour away. But you can basically, you can more or less, and we've seen it. We've seen it on Encyclopedia Metallum. I mean, whatever. You pick a country, you can pretty much find, multiple metal bands from there. So
yeah.
So
I mean, look how many people, how many bands that we've talked to just from Sweden in the last 2 years. It's like, at least 4, I think. So, actually, I can go back and look. But
I was about to say, I mean,
I still have the list right here. So,
just Scandinavia alone, we're probably up to about a half a dozen bands.
Oh yeah. We had Sweden, Belgium, and
Sweden, Belgium, Scotland, Germany.
I mean,
Finland. So
all over there. But yeah, we had Helsingborg, Sweden last year, and then we had Uppsala, Sweden, which I'm pretty sure that was hexed.
Uppsala was Uppsala. I do believe was hexed. Yeah.
And then I want to say the other band was the Defaced, right?
Yes, Defaced was the Defaced was actually our first Swedish band. They were first.
Yep.
Yeah, they were first.
Yeah. So this was our third Swedish band that we talked to on here.
Okay.
Of course, we were in the same area last week, but
we were just
in Finland.
Just across the border in Finland.
So I mean, we're kind of just you got to think about, we're from the United States, so we're talking 10, 12 billion people, something like that over here. And when you're talking about these countries that we're talking with, there's only 5 million people here. It's like, wow. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we're to have these bands, come out from that percentage of population is kind of just crazy, man. It's like, everybody's on a band, it seems like, over there. So,
yeah, and then to have the impact that some of them have.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got bands like Arch Enemy and Sabaton coming out of those areas and stuff like that. And then, we're trying to do what we can to make sure that, because I mean, Arch Enemy and Sabaton, I mean, they've created, Sabaton is, Sabaton is probably at least 10 albums into their career, and Arch Enemy has been around since 93, maybe.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s, because I remember Wages of Sin came out in 1996, because that was actually when I started listening to Arch Enemy. But they had music put out before that, because they had Johan Leva as their singer before Angela Gossow came in. So I'm wanting to say like right around 93 is when. So you're talking 30 years. You're talking 30 years for Arch Enemy. I can't exactly remember when Sabaton started, but they're probably pushing 20 years into their career. So they don't really, don't get me wrong, I want to talk to both bands, but they don't, like Jason, you said, they're not really hurting for the exposure we could get.
Right, yeah.
But, a band like Anzalu, who's, into their, very, very early into their career. And, even though Tim isn't early into his career musically, as far as this band goes, you're talking 7, 8 years in. So, but these bands deserve to be heard. Right. And if we can help that at all, then we're doing our jobs for now. So. Oh, geez, I wonder what that was. It was a sneeze. I was like, what the hell was that? It was a sneeze.
Yeah. Then, of course, there's always, who we get on here always depends on, like you said, where we have to like go and talk to these people. If it's on social media, or if it's an email, and if it's directly with them, or if it's through a manager. So we have noticed that through a manager is kind of harder to get those bands on. But
yeah, because it's doubly frustrating when you get a hold of a band, and like the member of the band is like, dude, I'd love to come on the show. Talk to this person. Fuck. And then you try to talk to that person, and they're like, they get all wishy-washy or they won't answer an email and stuff like that. So it's kind of frustrating because
it is.
The member of the band is like, I'd love to come on the show. And then you don't get a chance to talk to him because, you have to talk to a middleman. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess we're not talking to that band. So that kind of sucks, but
it almost makes me want to go back and message the first guy, the member of the band. Like, look, we want to have you on, but they're not responding. So,
right.
you take that up with their ass.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like you need to talk to somebody. Yeah.
If you want to go behind their back and come on the show anyway, I'm okay with that too. So.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we need to crank into the normalcy of the.
Sure enough.
Here, so
yeah.
Kick off with some birthdays here.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good list here this week. So
nice.
February 12th through the 18th here. February 12th, we had Byron Stroud, bassist for Fear Factory, Strapping Young Lad, and now of City of Fire, Zimmer's Hole. So he's been in a few outfits there. So especially with Fear Factory and Strapping Young Lad, those are two that kind of stick out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're never going to hear any Strapping Young Lad again. I mean, Devin Townsend has basically put those. I mean, you never say 100% never, but from what Devin Townsend has said, he's it wouldn't be Strapping Young Lad without Devin Townsend. So I mean, and he's basically said nah. So. Which sucks, but I mean, he's out there making plenty of his own music. So
right. Carry on here. February 13th, we had Derek Riggs. He is a British artist, better known for his Iron Maiden album covers.
See, there you go.
Pretty interesting, and always cool. Like when you don't get the musicians on here, sometimes it's kind of like that's cool. We had Les Warner. He's a musician and producer for The Cult. So sometimes the producers get love too. Hell, I put the damn light and sound guy on here if they had birthdays on here,
right?
Yeah. And sometimes, like some of the bands that we follow do say that, so and then I'll call it out.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the 13th, we had Dave Padden, the vocalist and guitarist for Annihilator from 2003 to 2014, which keep that in mind here in just a second. We got Hamish Glenn Cross, guitarist for My Dying Bride. Henry Rollins, vocalist for Black Flag, and of course the Rollins Band. And we had Jeff Waters, guitarist for Annihilator. So just
there you go.
Odd that there was two guitarists for Annihilator that had birthdays. So of course Jeff's been in the band a long time. So
yeah, he is. Yeah, he's.
I think since the beginning. So.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not 100% sure he's a lifer, but I think he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been there since.
I think he has.
Like I said, I'm not 100%, but I'm at least 98% sure he's been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
Then we had February 14th, the Love Day. We had Roger Fisher, guitarist for Heart from 1967 to 1980, which when I wrote that down, I was like, I did not realize that Heart had been around since 1967. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy that they've been around that long. Then we had Liv Christine from vocalist for Lee's Eyes, and then Jason Zylstra, of course, guitarist for Nonpoint. Then kind of fitting that they put out a single on his birthday. That's kind of wild. So if you hadn't checked out that new single, you need to do so. It's pretty cool, pretty good, pretty good track. So we had February 15th. We had Jakey Lee, guitarist for Badlands from 88 to 93, and of course Ozzy Osbourne from 82 to 89. Which I always felt bad at Badlands didn't get off the ground they kind of came in at a bad time though, with the grunge scene kind of coming in right at the end of their thing. So I think grunge scene kind of killed a lot of those bands like that didn't really have a footing yet. Right, like Trickster and Badlands and all those bands kind of came out like right at the end of the 80s. So it's kind of like when grunge kind of took effect, everybody kind of threw those guys wayside and kept the Metallicas and Megadeths. So which we're glad that they did that. But,
sure.
All right, so on the February 15th, we had Mr. Lordy, and I'm not going to say his real name because I can't pronounce it, so I'm calling him Mr. Lordy. Of course, he's vocalist for Lordy. Then Brooks Wackerman, a drummer for Bad Religion and Avenged Sevenfold. Then we had Kimberly Goss, vocalist for Synergy. February 16th, we had Ice-T, vocalist for Body Count. And of course, his rapping career, but
Mm-hmm.
we're going to stick with Body Count over here. So,
Yeah.
then we had Pete Willis, guitarist, songwriter for Def Leppard from 77 to 82. Probably the only guy to ever get kicked out of his own band. But if I remember right, I think he actually started a band and then the band voted him out. So it's kind of like, wow. If I remember the story right, that's how it kind of happened. Also on the 16th, Dave Lombardo, of course, drummer for Slayer, Suicidal Tendencies, and now of Testament. We had Kayo, vocalist for During Gray. That's a band that I never think about until I see stuff like this, and I'm like, oh yeah. Right. And I think the Japanese bands, deserve a little push too. So
Yeah, they do.
February 17th, we had Michael LaPond, bassist for Symphony X. We had Corthon, vocalist, record producer, multi-musician for Bathory. Of course, he passed away in 2004. I'm probably going to kill this name, but Patrick Butterwick, guitarist for Pestilence. Taylor Hawkins, drummer for the Foo Fighters. Of course, we know he passed away last year. And then February 18th, which is today, we had Gar Samuelson, drummer for Megadeth, who passed away in 1999. And then Buddy Nilsson, vocalist for Census Fail. And I know you had a birthday in your camp this week. So.
Sure did. My brother, my 6'7" little brother, Bob, his birthday was on Monday. So
is he really that tall?
Yeah, he's 6'7".
No shit.
Yeah,
I never realized he was that tall. So.
Yep. Wow. Yes, he is.
That is crazy.
Yes, he is.
Is that why you never measured up? I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm fine being. I'm fine.
I just got
I know. I'm fine being 6 foot tall. That's fine. That's tall.
Yeah, that's tall enough. Yeah,
it's tall enough. Yeah, it's tall enough.
So did he play basketball or anything when he was growing up? Or?
Nah, not really. I mean,
not really?
Nothing. I mean, nothing on any organized teams. I mean, we would. We'd screw around in the driveway and stuff like that. But he and I always played hockey together. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, he's 6'7", you can kind of do anything athletic, but
yeah. But I mean, he had quite the probably 99% of the time he had quite the advantage, because he being 6'7", he had longer legs, longer arms, which means he had a longer stick. So I mean, it was easy for him to keep the puck away from guys, and then if guys had the puck, it was easier for him to take it away from guys. Yeah. So yeah, we always played. We predominantly played hockey together the most. Okay. So
cool.
Yep.
Well, happy birthday to Bob as well. So.
Yeah, happy birthday to everybody.
Happy birthday, and then, like I said, anybody out there had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. So.
Absolutely.
Got a lot of things to talk about today. So.
Yes, we do. So we might as well hop into it. And unfortunately, we weren't going to get through the whole year, obviously, without having to get back into this. So there was no way we were going to avoid that. But we're going to lead off this week with another member of the in memoriam list for this year. Over at blabbermouth.net, Controlled Denied and Pharaoh vocalist Tim Amar has died at the age of 59. Tim's passing was confirmed by his Pharaoh bandmates in a social media post. They wrote, quote, "We are very sorry to share the awful news of the passing of Pharaoh's one and only singer, Tim Amar. Tim has meant so much to so many people whose hearts are suddenly flooded with sadness, but also memories of his life and music. We look forward to sharing some of our own memories when the right time has come. Until then, we are joined in sorrow and gratitude with all of Tim's family, friends, fans, and fellow musicians," end quote. Amar is perhaps best known as a vocalist for Chuck Schuldner's Controlled Denied project, which released one album, The Fragile Art of Existence, in 1999. Tim also sang for 313, Triple X, Psycho Scream, and the aforementioned Pharaoh, which formed in 1997 in Pennsylvania. Triple X won the Pittsburgh Music Award for Best Metal Band in 1990 and was the first regional band to be awarded a national sponsorship from Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser Anheuser-Busch. Tim was also voted Vocalist of the Year in readers' polls of many of the Pittsburgh tri-state area's rock and entertainment publications. In a 2021 interview with True Metal, Tim stated about how he landed the Controlled Denied gig. Quote, it was actually Jim Dofka who hooked me and Chuck up. Chuck asked to borrow me for Controlled Denied, and Jim knew it would boost my career, so he was all for it. Chuck called me and we hit it off. He invited me to his place in Florida to record 3 songs as an audition. Obviously, it went well. end quote. Regarding his memories of the making of The Fragile Art of Existence, Tim said, quote, "We all had a great time working with producer Jim Morris and each other. Then Chuck told me he was having severe headaches and couldn't sleep because of it. He was also experiencing partial paralysis in his left hand, which scared the dickens out of him. I recommended a chiropractor since I have neck and back injuries that were being treated by one. As it turned out, well, we know the end of that story," end quote. And yes, unfortunately, we do. Schuldner passed away on December 13th, 2001, after a battle with pontine glioma, a rare type of brain tumor. He was 34 years old. So it doesn't say, it actually doesn't, because this story came out on February 15th. So I'm not 100% sure if it was that same day or if it was on the 14th, and it doesn't say what the cause of death was. So I'll kind of keep an eye out for that if that ever gets released. So, but unfortunately gone too soon at the age of 59. So,
man. I guess I will kick my first one over from Metal Hammer. This week in news is kind of wild to me because I think this may be the first time that I had a story from each outlet. so
nice.
It wasn't all from one spot this week, which was kind of crazy. But anyway, this one over from Metal Hammer. Gojira have just kicked off the UK leg of their huge European tour alongside Alien Weaponry and Employed to Serve, a string of dates that have been a long time coming, previously scheduled to take place back at the start of 2022. They've also kickstarted a discussion online because of the band's merch prices. Twitter user at Chris Jones posted a photo from the merch desk at the band's show at Belfast's Ulster Hall on February 12th, first stating 40 quid for a standard t-shirt at a Gojira gig tonight. I know times are tough for touring bands, but bloody hell. Ulster Hall taking a large cut, I'm thinking. Which that's kind of wild if that is the case, because we were just talking to Tim about that, and he said they didn't have much over in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the products that are available range from the aforementioned t-shirt for £40 to £50 for a long sleeve and £80 for a hoodie, all the way up to a signed vinyl for £80 and art prints for £100. So the conversation has been instigated by this photo. It's fascinating, to say the least. On one hand, there are reactions such as, "Oh, hell no, £25 for a t-shirt is standard, £30 too much, £40 is mad, and that's insane." But on the other, fans are also saying this is honestly pretty standard for large touring acts these days, and because of rising costs of touring don't apply to more well-known bands. These are absolutely standard prices in today's economic climate. One person has even noted that the Cure was selling their t-shirts on their recent tour for half the price at £20. So the truth of the matter is that touring in 2023 is completely different to any other time that bands have been able to go out on the road. Firstly, this particular tour was rescheduled a whole 12 months later by the band because they stated, despite our best efforts to resume touring this month, the continued uncertainty in various territories has left us with no other choice but to reschedule the remaining dates of the tour as well. Changing a whole touring schedule doesn't come easy or cheap on both the pockets and the mind. Additionally, the cost of living has gone up considerably in those 12 months as well. Things that would have been easily taken care of in certainty before are now up in the air and a constant worry. All of that is heightened when you have to go out on the road for a living. And that's not just the band, that's the crew, management, transport, everybody who is associated with Gojira on the tour is affected. Merchandise is the only way that a band is able to even consider breaking even in this climate, summed up perfectly by Stray from the Past, Craig Reynolds. And what happens if your favorite band doesn't make money on the road? They could come to your town, play a show, leave worse off than they arrived. That's not sustainable in any way, is it? And if that happens, then touring may have to stop completely. This affects absolutely everyone. It's not an isolated case. The next gig that you go to may have the same price list. And the truth of the matter is, if you can afford to support a band, then you should do so. But at the same time, if you can't, then you can't. So, little debate going on about the prices of Gojira's merch there. So, I kind of like that. I guess one of the parts of the story that kind of really irked me a little was they're talking about the cost of living. Like, that ain't affecting the people buying the shit too. Like, I'm like, I mean, well, if you think it's affecting the band, how you think it's affecting the guy working in a fucking factory for 40 hours a week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with the rising costs of everything. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for corporations and trying not to get. I'm trying not to get off on some sort of a rant here, but I don't know what it's going to take for these corporations to realize that at some point that they've got to stop fucking over the people who they're providing services to. I don't know what it's going to take. You know, I mean, I know that here in the United States, we have a capitalist economy and everything. And the whole point of owning a business is to get as many customers as you can and make as much money as you can. And so, I mean, I get all that. I totally get it. But at some point, and I'm not an economics major by any stretch of the imagination, but to me, at some point, there has to be a breaking point where these corporations are focusing too much on themselves and not enough on their customer base. And when your only focus becomes about profit and making as much profit as you can, no pun intended, at all costs, at some point you can only fuck your customer base over for so long until your customer base dries up because they can't afford the shit you're charging anymore. And I know a lot goes into it because I work at a place that deals with a lot of overseas customers and overseas suppliers. And I know there's like supply chain and, everything starts at the beginning of the supply chain and everything, gets passed down, to this person, to this person, to this person. And ultimately everything gets passed on to the consumer. Like I say, so I know how it works, to a certain extent, but I mean, at some point, something's going to happen somewhere with one of these companies where it's like, you know what, we've raised prices so much, people are like, fuck it, we're done, we're not buying anything else from you. And then they're going to be like, well, shit, now what do we do? And in a weird way, I kind of hope it happens soon, because the people like you and I and a lot of our listeners, I mean, we got to get up and we got to go to work every day, and we got to worry about the price of gas, the price of eggs, we have to worry about the price of everything that we need on a daily basis and what our kids need and all this other shit. So eventually, like I say, something is going to happen somewhere and it may not even be in this country. It may be some big corporation somewhere overseas. Who knows? I have a feeling it's going to happen at some point where just, hey, make all the money we can, just pass everything down to the consumer, let them pay for it. So I mean, at some point consumers are going to be like, we're done. We cannot do this anymore. We can't take any more price increases. We can't, because you raise prices for everything. Our pay rates don't go up in any sort of direct, correlation with the rise in prices, so at some point the prices of everything are just going to be too high for regular people like us. And I'll be 100% honest. I don't think I'll feel sorry for a corporation. I'll feel bad for the workers. I'll feel bad for whatever corporation it is that ends up getting bit in the ass by it. I'll feel bad for the workers, because the workers aren't the ones. The workers are the ones who suffer the most. Like people like you or I who are out on the floor, we're the ones who suffer the worst. Like the corporation you work for, the guy who runs your corporation is not going to hurt at all.
No,
that guy will not hurt at all. So, I feel, of course I'll feel bad for the workers, but at the same time, if something like that happens to a large enough corporation to where people are like, we're done paying these prices, I don't know, maybe it'll be some sort of wake up call. I don't know. Like I say, I'm trying not to.
I mean,
to
if you think about, like, the average of a t-shirt here that we've been to, the shows we've been to is $30 to $40. I mean, you think about it. I mean, the way they're talking, 40 pounds. That's what, like 50, almost 50 here. Or
Yeah,
over
let me
50?
see what the price
I
is.
think it's like 48ish, maybe, or something like that. But I could be wrong.
So what are we trying to find out with 40 pounds?
40 pounds, yeah.
40 pounds to a US dollar is $48. I would not pay
Well, I thought,
48.
yeah.
I would not pay $48 for a concert t-shirt. I wouldn't
Well,
do
no,
it.
I mean 40 is like still pushing it because I mean you're just like, damn, man, 40
Yeah.
bucks for a t-shirt, but
Yeah,
you know.
40 is my absolute limit. And like the last time I paid $40 for a t-shirt, I was very, very conflicted about it.
Yeah.
I was very conflicted about it. I was like, oh God. But yeah, I would not pay 48. I'm not doing it. So,
That's
you know,
kinda-
and so let's see, 50 and 50 pounds to US dollars is a touch over $60. I'm definitely not paying
Yeah.
$60 for a
hell
shirt.
no,
I'm not
not
doing
for
it.
a t-shirt. That's crazy.
I'm not doing it. And here's one of the things that irked.
Well, I think that was for the long sleeve, but still,
Sure,
that's still
it
beside the
was.
point. Yeah,
Right,
still,
it
that's
was.
beside the point.
Yeah, and here's one of the things that irked me about that story is, and I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about this too. The new normal.
No, it's not. Normal.
I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about the new
There's
normal.
not. There's not a new normal. It's
Right, like we're just like, well, you know, this whole it is what it is, and or this is how it is now, and all this sort of shit. But because to me, it doesn't have to be. To me, it doesn't have to be. If this is droning on too long already, but something needs to happen, and somebody somewhere needs to say, okay, you know what? And I know this is going to sound stupid and crazy. I know it is. Someone somewhere is going to have to say, we make enough money already. We're doing fine. We're making enough money already. Let's try to maybe help our customers out. I know it sounds fucking retarded when I say it, you know, because companies don't do that. They don't do it. They don't do it.
The thing is, if you thinking $30 for a t-shirt, you know, if you're charging 30 instead of 40, then obviously you're going to sell more. So you're probably going to be better off selling it for 30 than you would 40 because then not as many people are probably going to buy it.
Right.
If you had 30, and plus if you had it at 30, more people are tending to buy. Oh, well, I'll buy two, you know, instead of buying the one for 40. So then you just made $20 extra. I mean,
yes, I mean.
You know, you look at things that way too.
Yeah, that $10 difference at a show definitely pulls people off the fence because you know if I'm at a concert because if I think I paid 30, I think I paid $30 for this.
I think they were 30, yeah.
I think they were
35, something like that. They were under 40, I know.
Yeah, I think they were definitely under 40. So I think I paid 30 for this at the venue. You know, you go to a place, you know, of course, I know that Hot Topic is kind of like a, you know, it's kind of like, you know, a kind of a sore spot for some people when it comes to merchandise as far as band goes. But if you go up to the mall and you go to Hot Topic, you're buying, you can buy a shirt up there for $20 to $22, but who knows how much of that money goes to the actual band. You go to a concert, you buy this shirt for $30, you're paying $8 extra. But first of all, this shirt is put together. And I'll be honest, I have some Hot Topic shirts. I have a few.
Yeah.
Sure, I have a few because I've seen somewhere, you know, it's got a design on it that I like, you know. So yeah, I do have some. Do I prefer to buy them at shows? Of course I do. Because I'll be honest, this shirt is put together a hell of a lot better than one I can buy at Hot Topic. So I prefer to buy band shirts at an event for the band, for the band, for their benefit, and plus, like I say, the quality is a little bit higher. So you know, I would prefer to buy one at a show. So
you're probably not going to get a tour shirt at Hot Topic. So
no, you don't.
You're going to get a face, you know, a front facial, and that's it. You know.
Yeah,
you're not going to get any dates on the back or nothing. So.
Right. So that's another reason why I would prefer to buy one at a show because you know just you know hey I was here, check it out. This is when I went. You know, I went to this show right here. You can point to it on the back. I went to this show. You know, so
and plus it helps my old ass remember. So
yeah, true. There's also that. So yeah, I know I said enough on it. It's the bottom line is. Like if I had like a 2-word answer, it's frustrating. That's all it is. It's frustrating. It really is. Okay. I'm sure this was on pretty much every single one of our media outlets, but I'm sticking with Blabbermouth. This one came out on Monday. Dave Mustaine has confirmed to Rolling Stone that former Megadeth guitarist Marty Friedman will join the band at his first ever gig at Tokyo's famed Budokan later this month. Friedman will come up on stage for 3 songs during the show's encore. The Budokan concert, which will be live streamed on February 22nd and available on demand for a couple of days after, marks the first time in more than 2 decades Friedman has shared the stage with the group. Quote, when Marty said, "Hey, I can play at this gig," I thought, this is so magnificent. Mustaine told Rolling Stone, quote, "It's going to be so much fun to get Kiko and Marty together because they're both geniuses on guitar. So this is like a gigantic birthday and Christmas present for me," end quote. Well, it's not an end quote. I'm sorry. The quote continues on the next paragraph. It has been a long time, 23 years to be exact, since I've been on the same stage with, oh shit, no, this is a mistake. This is a Marty Friedman quote. I'm sorry. It's been a long time, 23 years to be exact, since I've been on the same stage with Dave Mustaine making music. We've both taken drastically different paths since then. That doesn't change the fact that I'm extremely proud of the part that I played in Megadeth's history and legacy. I'm also very, very proud of the band's many great achievements and continued success in my absence. For right now, I just feel immense joy and some serious adrenaline. I'm looking forward to playing with Megadeth at this very cool place, the Budokan. End quote. Back over to Dave Mustaine, quote, "We haven't been to Japan in a long time. I thought that inviting Marty was just a very thoughtful thing to do. Megadeth has not been a band, has had a lot of guest appearances from other players." They left a word out of that. "We are not a jam band." I asked Kiko how he felt about this, and Kiko is completely confident in his guitar playing, which he should be. "This is not like when the Police handed their instruments to U2 to pass the torch," he continued. "This is doing something really grateful to the Japanese audience. We want it to be a gift. So everybody who bought that ticket before today, you're welcome. I'm really looking forward to this moment. It's going to be great." End quote. 3 years ago, Friedman admitted that money was a major motivator for him when he was approached about taking part in a reunion of Megadeth's Rust in Peace lineup. Friedman had met with Mustaine and then bassist David Ellefson at the 2015 NAMM show in Anaheim, California, to discuss the reunion, which would have seen him and drummer Nick Menza back in the mix. Friedman opened up about his reasons for turning down the Megadeth reunion from Mustaine's latest book, Rust in Peace, the inside story of the Megadeth masterpiece, which details the making of the iconic record Rust in Peace. My main thing was I'd be happy to do it, but I'm not going to take less money than I'm already making to do it, Marty said in part. "I'd been in Japan for more than 10 years, cultivating a career with solid rewards. I was making money not only for myself, but also for my management and staff. My manager has been with me 15 years. Everything was sound and solid professionally, and when the offer came up to all of a sudden join Megadeth again, as long as I would not be making less money, I was ready to go. But I was certainly not going to take a loss to join a band that, frankly, at that point didn't seem like they had too much to offer musically. A couple of members of the band had recently quit, and musically I hadn't heard anything that they've done in a long time. I didn't know about how relevant they continued to be in the music business. It wasn't like Megadeth was on the tip of people's tongues, at least not in Japan. I had reached the point where people stopped immediately connecting me to Megadeth, and we were talking about the things that I had done in Japan," end quote. That's kind of a big thing for Marty, I know. So I can kind of understand his viewpoint there. According to Friedman, part of the reason he turned down the Megadeth reunion is the fact that the group is largely seen as Mustaine's solo project, with members coming and going every couple albums. Quote, "Had it been more of a band situation, not such a one-man Dave Mustaine main man party, I might have considered doing it for a little less," Marty said. "But at the end of the day, Megadeth is so much Mustaine because that's the way he engineered it. I didn't feel that kind of camaraderie, the four-man diamond, the Beatles, Kiss, Metallica. I felt like I would be going out there and tour, and it was going to be Mustaine's big success. If I'm going to do that, I'm certainly not going to lose money to do that. I was doing great on my own in Japan," end quote. So again, I kind of see where Marty's coming from with that, but it's kind of nice, it's going to be cool definitely for the people in Japan to kind of see him up on stage. I may try to check out the live stream of that, because it would be kind of cool to see what 3 songs that he's going to play. So
Yeah.
I have an idea of like what songs I'd like to see him play, but who knows what they're going to pick. So
Yeah, that will be pretty cool. I guess this is to go over to Loudwire here. This is going to be another story that we're probably going to be on a rant about. So, Live Nation and Ticketmaster have emerged victorious in a recent antitrust lawsuit against them because the ticket buyers filing the suit had waived their rights to sue as part of the company's terms of agreements. In January of 2022, Live Nation Entertainment, which includes both Live Nation and Ticketmaster, were sued for allegedly violating antitrust laws and using what was described in the suit as a predatory practices. The suit was filed by lawyers for the firms Quinn, Emanuel, and Keller Linker, and it was the second such lawsuit brought by Quinn Emanuel, who had sued the company in 2020 with a federal judge ruling in Ticketmaster's favor. A lower court had ruled in Live Nation's favor based on the grounds that customers had agreed in the terms and conditions of the ticket price to settle the disputes in arbitration rather than taking it to court. The case has eventually reopened by the federal appeals court after plaintiffs argued that they were being misled because the arbitration agreement was not clear. According to the Hollywood Reporter, in the appeal, ticket purchasers argued that the arbitration agreement wasn't valid because it didn't identify the legal names of the corporate entities as parties to the contract. But the California 9th District Circuit panel sided with Live Nation, stating that California law doesn't require corporate parties to a contract to use their full legal names. They added that Live Nation Entertainment Inc. was explicitly referenced multiple times in the terms, as was the arbitration clause. Judge Danny Boggs initially offered that while any dispute could only be taken up with the corporations, those terms were not made clear enough to the buyers and should be regarded as invalid. But in his ruling on February 13th, Boggs stated at 3 independent stages when creating an account, signing into an account, and completing a purchase, Ticketmaster and Live Nation webpage users are presented with a confirmation button above which text informs the user by clicking on this button, you agree to our terms of use. A reasonable user would have seen the notice and been able to locate the terms via hyperlink. He then added that while Live Nation and Ticketmaster did not make their terms as clear as they possibly could have, the visibility on the purchasing site did enough in legal terms, and that crucially the terms of use hyperlink is conspicuously distinguished from the surrounding text in bright blue font, making its presence readily apparent. As such, the case was dismissed. That said, the ruling did not address the questions in the lawsuit of whether Live Nation can charge bloated ticket prices through their ticketing services. So that going to guess that's going to be an ongoing case, seeing as it didn't, that was the whole purpose, was the bloated ticket price, and then that didn't get settled. So, so I kind of like. I guess the thing with that I don't agree with is, yes, it may come up with a terms of service agreement every so often or whatever, but if the thing is, if you don't just power through and buy the damn tickets, then some bot buys the damn things, and then you're paying twice as much for it, a week later. So, who in the hell is going to sit and go through each hyperlink to read a fucking agreement? It's bullshit. Like, it needs to be simple and in detail and just be, not a paragraph, not a fucking 3-page goddamn.
Not to mention those goddamn terms and conditions are so goddamn ambiguously vague anyway.
Right.
You have to be a lawyer to fucking understand the wording of them, which I don't think is fair. Yeah. Even like say, even the people who do take the time to read them, I would be willing to bet they're like, okay, I read it, but do I really understand?
What does it mean?
What the hell they're trying to say here? And like you said, you only get about 15 minutes of time to make a purchase before it times out. Like, oh, well, you lost your spot in line.
Yeah.
So this shit is okay. Fine. The terms and conditions are there. The information is there. Is it though? I mean, even though it officially is there, I mean, come on,
Another thing is we've talked about this too, is like you're getting a digital ticket, so you're not going through any kind of services or anything to get it printed or downloaded or anything like that. I mean, it's all like, they're not doing anything, but they're charging you the price of a damn ticket for some kind of service, that you're not getting. So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, and the unmitigated gall to charge a convenience fee.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
fuck out of here.
All that shit's bullshit. So.
But again, and again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the merchandising, and this situation, it's going to be even harder because Ticketmaster Ticketmaster and Live Nation know that they've got people by the balls. People, unfortunately, and I'm one of them. Unfortunately, people are not going to stop going to shows.
Mm-hmm.
They won't. They will not stop going to shows. I'm not going to stop going to shows. You're not going to stop going to shows. People are not going to stop going to shows. So unfortunately, they know they've got people by the balls. But at the same time, you have guaranteed money that you're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
You have guaranteed money that you're going to make. And there are events that whether it's concert, comedy show, sporting event, whatever, there are events that don't sell out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to make sure that you're going to make all the money you can, make sure, bite a little bit of the bullet, help your customer base out, either get rid of some of these bullshit fees, which that's what they are. They're fucking bullshit, or come down on the price of the ticket altogether, which I would rather them do away with the fees, because the price of the tickets go to the performers anyway. So I would rather see the fees be done away with, adjusted, or whatever. That way, and like I say, I get it. Ticketmaster, like, they need to make their money. I fucking get it. I get it. That's how fucking the economy works. But at the same time, if coming down on these fees, or doing away with a couple of them and having one fee, just have one. Just have one, but have it be fair. You'll still make your money. But if more people can afford to come to the event and you can sell out more events, crying out loud, man. Come on. Like
I tell you another thing I don't like is the resale thing that they have on there. So I think they should get rid of that bullshit too, because
that should be illegal.
If you go on there now, like, I was going over last Wednesday. Was eating with some friends, and he was talking about the Gojira concert. I said, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." I said, "I'm gonna go see how much tickets are." So I'll go on there and look, and like everything's $150 to $200. And I said, "How much do you pay for your tickets?" $60. The same spot that he was in and everything on the floor. $150 to $200. I'm like, why is this, And then I looked at it. It said verified resale ticket. And I'm like, well, that's why, because people are buying them and then trying to jack their price up.
That's price
to make a profit themselves. Which is
Well, see, that's the thing is
which basically like, want to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, does the IRS know you're doing that?
Well, yeah. That's a completely different can of worms. But I don't agree. I don't agree with like people being able to resell the tickets they bought from Ticketmaster on Ticketmaster's website. I don't like that at all.
No, just get a refund or sell it to or transfer it to a buddy or whatever. But
right. Like if
bullshit.
Right.
It's actually cheating the people that actually would love to see the band. So
yeah, it is. Like if your whole motivation well, they need to crack down on the whole bot thing to begin with,
right?
On everything. I know they have the technology. They can do it. I know they can. But if I have a pair of tickets and something comes up and I can't go, I don't like the fact that I can go on the Ticketmaster's website and charge 3 times the amount. Like if I can't go, I should be able to be like, hey, does anyone around here like want these? I mean, even, so that's one thing, but someone who goes and buys 50 to 100 tickets the day they go on sale and locks somebody out like you or I, that should be illegal. That should be fucking illegal.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have some more updates on this coming forward.
But yeah, that's going to be something that is not going away anytime soon. Like I agree with you that whole thing isn't gonna be the only thing we hear about that whole lawsuit. That's going to be ongoing for a little bit, I think. All right, staying over at Blabbermouth. On February 6th, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck southern Turkey and northern Syria, followed mere hours by a 7.5 earthquake. As the window closes on rescue efforts following the devastating earthquakes and aftershocks, the region is left with entire towns and cities reduced to piles of concrete. The human toll is devastating as more than 36,000 people have been killed. Tragically, that number is expected to rise in the coming days, and the estimated financial damage exceeds $84 billion in Turkey alone. Metallica's All Within My Hands Foundation is contributing $125,000 grants to Direct Relief and World Central Kitchen to assist in funding much-needed medical aid and meals. All Within My Hands has strong, established partnerships with these organizations, and it remains committed to supporting both because of their ability to reach the source of destruction and provide aid to the affected communities and individuals. Direct Relief and World Central Kitchen have had boots on the ground providing hands-on relief since the day that after the quakes hit. Direct Relief is actively responding to the crisis through its network of regional healthcare partners. The organization is fulfilling requests for medical supplies with over 22 tons already allocated, such as emergency medical packs, antibiotics, cardiovascular medicines, analgesics, personal hygiene kits, oral rehydration salts, acetaminophen, prenatal vitamins, and more. Mobilizing these urgent deliveries follows the organization's immediate response of providing financial support for search and rescue efforts to ACUT, Turkish Search and Rescue Team. World Central Kitchen activated its meal distribution channels within hours of the breaking news, with founder Jose Andres personally delivering sandwiches to a shelter. The organization set up a large-scale response that establishes and utilizes its own kitchens. While it is unable to use the local culinary infrastructure, World Central Kitchen is providing support by funding local businesses directly and employing local chefs. The organization is currently distributing over 125,000 meals per day, totaling over 600,000 meals within 1 week. So there is more in the story. But I'm gonna cut it off right there because I don't want to bury the lead. We are concentrating on like the metal aspect of it.
Right.
Metallica donating $250,000 to the relief effort. But I did read one paragraph talking about each organization. So it does keep going. If you want to keep reading it, you can. But it's a pretty long story. So I'm gonna end it right there. So Metallica has continued to help out with their charitable efforts with their All Within My Hands Foundation. So
they could do so much more.
And the funny thing is their organization does and will. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I keep bringing these stories up, because Metallica has this organization that just doesn't do just one-off stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ongoing thing that they're doing. So that's why I think it needs to be reiterated when these things happen. Obviously the main thing is the earthquakes and how bad they were and how many people were killed, but there are people who are out there helping, and Metallica is one of them. So, and I mean, and if you guys want to help out, donate to the foundation, or or donate to the Red Cross. The Red Cross does help with humanitarian stuff like that. So,
and I'm sure that anybody that's carpenters and stuff like that we I'm sure there's be opportunities down there to go help them rebuild too. So
yeah, I'm sure carpentry, masonry, any of that stuff.
Many ways you can help. So
yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're going to complain about how much Metallica's given. So
yeah, put up or shut up.
All right, this one over from Blabbermouth. Of course, we've always talk wrestling and heavy metal kind of could go hand in hand a lot of times. So
they do.
This one's story is not going to be any different. Developer Visual Concepts and publisher 2K Games have announced the complete soundtrack for the WWE 2K23 video game, curated by cover superstar and executive soundtrack producer John Cena. Of course, I don't know how they know he did it if you can't see him, but the soundtrack features a collection of songs from some of the biggest artists in the world today, including Metallica and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The WWE 2K23 game will be available on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC on March 17th. Those who pre-order will get early access on the 14th, March 14th. The official WWE 2K track listing includes Metallica's Sabbath True. I don't know some of these names here, so I'm just going to go with what I know. So Doja Cat, Vegas, Luciano SUVs, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Can't Stop, Hardy Jack, Bullet for My Valentine's, No More Tears to Cry. It must be during one of the things where you can't ever win the title on or something. Got Let Down, Shipwreck, Idols, Grounds, Post Malone featuring Ozzy Osbourne and Travis Scott, Take What You Want. Of course, there's a couple other tracks there. I'm not familiar with those. The full WWE 2K23 Superstar roster features 100 of WWE's top playable talent available at launch. Headlining the main event of the full reveal are superstars making their debut on the WWE WWE 2K roster for the very first time, such as Cody Rhodes, Braun Breaker, Alba Fire, Cora Jade, and global music phenomenon Bad Bunny. Fan favorite WWE legends including Cena, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock are also revealed, alongside today's most popular superstars such as Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Like I said, always like I remember like hearing like non-points, everybody's down playing one of the old WWE games, so they've definitely had a tie-in with me, especially with we know Triple H is a big metalhead, and of course he kind of has the reins, or did have the reins, and I don't think so as much anymore. But
yeah, it didn't last very long, did it?
No, I did. Then you got Edge, that's on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame board and stuff. So I mean, you got some influences there that kind of make sure that metal gets represented in every aspect of WWE. So.
And then Disturbed did a version of Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme music for like it was like 2 or 3 years where he did where he came out to Disturbed's version. But as much as I like Disturbed, I still like the original version better. But heavy metal has had a presence in WWE for a long time, even back to the WWF days. I mean, Ultimate Warrior came out to an original heavy metal version of his entrance theme. So heavy metal's been around in the WWE way back.
Well, that's because they couldn't find another genre of music to keep up with his tempo. So
oh shit, right? Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, man! You talking that guy? That guy only had one speed, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was almost. We used to joke about it, where it's like, he was like in the back going, "I'm ready."
Well, I mean.
That wasn't the case, but I'm just saying it sure as hell seemed like a lot of times when wide open as he was.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew about Red Bull before we did. So
he may have, he might have, or 5 Hour Energy, something, anything, yeah. All right, I'm going over to the PRP for a few. Thankfully, these are all relatively short, but we'll get through these pretty quick. Guitarist Mike Mushak from Stain will be sitting out Saint Asonia's immediate touring. A statement issued by the band on the matter yesterday, being February 15th, reads as follows, quote, "Hey everyone, we have a tour update for you all. Unfortunately, extenuating circumstances won't allow Mike Mushak to appear on this upcoming Rock Resurrection U.S. tour with Theory of a Deadman and Skillet. He will be missed, but the rest of us have enlisted friend and highly talented guitarist Tavis Stanley of Adelitas Way and Art of Dying to take on Mike's parts. We look forward to an awesome tour and playing our new songs from Introvert Extrovert for you all. See you all very soon." End quote. Saint Asonia will be out touring on their latest EP this past November's Extrovert. Dates for their aforementioned Rock Resurrection tour with Theory of a Deadman and Skillet include, they're at the bottom. We've already talked about them. So there you go. They're coming to Nashville in March. So any local fans, there you go. March 7th at the Brooklyn Bowl. For any other dates, you can find those on your own. So.
All right. Well, my last story here is over from Metal Sucks. Thanks to a collaboration with Opus Comics, Within Temptation are joining the ranks of Slayer, Gwar, and Baby Metal as yet another metal act that's getting their own comic book adaptation. Based on the band's 2019 studio effort Resist, as well as their 2021 virtual concert Aftermath, the newly announced 3-issue comic book miniseries from Opus Comics will tell the band's story of a futuristic battle against artificial intelligence. Written by young adult author Marieke Nijkamp, hopefully I pronounced that right. The story will focus mostly on humanity's techno-organic matriarch and the struggle to balance what she was created to be with the impossible forces that shape her. Heavy metal artist Montos will give the book its unique visual style. Within Temptation co-founder and vocalist Sharon Den Adel said the band was stoked to see the characters they've created over the years translated to a comic book page. The Purge cover star Genesis has come to life on our stage and in different merchandise designs, and now she will be taking you on the biggest quest of her life in both our next album as well as in our iconic book series. Teaming up with Opus teamed up with Opus for this seemed like a logical decision, as they were a heavyweight in creating comic books and only work with the best designers and storytellers. We can't wait to show you the final result. We hope you would enjoy it as much as we do. The first issue will be available later this year with the limited edition first print run to feature a numbered foil cover by Augustin Alicio. This version will be sold direct from Insidium Online, with a newsstand version available this May. So be on the lookout for that, comic book fans, I guess.
Very nice.
Seems like it'd be kind of interesting. It's a little mini series, so you get a couple in there for the whole story, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I tell you what, these last two stories I got, if you want to just go into the headline part, I could just knock these both out in kind of like headline form if you want to.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so we can do that.
All right. So other headlines: Guns N' Roses' November Rain surpasses 2 million YouTube views. So congratulations on that. I think that may be the first rock song that did that. So
to go past 2 billion, I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Then even more Guns N' Roses news. NASCAR team partners with Guns N' Roses for a Daytona 500 car, which pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I also saw something over at the PRP where they're going to have like a special Duff McKagan Funko available at the Daytona 500.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I saw that. I have to look that up, but it was a Duff McKagan Funko for sure. I'm wanting to say it's a special one that they're giving away at the 500. So I know the figure exists. Cool. I'll have to find out where you can find it.
Just probably exclusive there or something.
I think it might be because of the partnership with the NASCAR
well, that's
team.
Definitely a collector's item if that's the case.
Yeah.
All right. So Glass Casket teases their first new material in 17 years. So it's like so crazy to hear all these bands that's been on the shelf for 15 plus years coming back with albums and stuff. I remember somebody like the other day was like 30 years. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But
it's good though. It's good.
It is good. Yeah, I'm glad that there's a opening for them to actually do that. So, and then Dave Mustaine on Metallica not taking Megadeth on tour. Why won't these guys play with us? What are they afraid of? Oh, Dave.
Well, I mean, I read that story. It's I'll admit, man, Dave's he's got it's a valid question. I think it's a valid question.
But it makes him look like he just can't let go,
Well, it does. It absolutely does. But like I say, at the same time, when you kind of boil it down and you weed through all that shit, I mean, it's actually not a bad question.
Now, the other story I did see about him talking about, getting the credits on the albums and stuff that he didn't, he didn't really get. Well, he said he got credit for it, but so did Kurt. He's like, hell, he don't deserve anything. He didn't do anything.
That was his whole thing.
Yeah. And I agree with him.
That was his whole thing.
He didn't do anything that he shouldn't get credit for it, but he said, Kurt played it on the album, but I wrote it. So, so there you go.
Yeah.
Pantera announces a second Budapest show in place of the canceled Vienna show. So that's cool. They're giving being able to replace the show. So that's good for them.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that they were able to do that.
No, yeah. The closest we got to Metallica in the Super Bowl was a Lux Eterna in a commercial. So
yeah, for the Daytona 500. Yeah,
yeah, right.
I did see that. So
Herman Lee opens up on the change to focus for Dragon Force after becoming their manager again. So obviously there's some managerial issues in the Dragon Force camp again. So. Which, I mean, Herman Lee's, it's kind of hard to put anything over on a guy that's managed a band and in the band. So,
right.
So obviously somebody wasn't doing things to their liking. So,
yeah.
Tesla's releasing a new live album this summer. So, if you're a Tesla fan, look forward to that. Like, I'm sure Victor probably check that out. I don't think he likes Tesla. So, Under Oath signs a new record deal with MNRK Heavy. Sleep Token announces their third studio album, Take Me Back to Eden, to be released later this year. So, which is crazy because I thought they just released an album. So
maybe they did, and maybe they are.
So there's some trivium shit back to back.
Yeah.
Metallica's Saint Anger makes Rolling Stone's list of 50 genuinely horrible albums by brilliant artists. Which
I saw that.
We could probably agree with that.
I saw that. And the funny thing is I saw that headline because they had Pantera listed. I was like, and it didn't dawn on me when I first read the headline because I went to the store. I was like, what the hell Pantera album they talking about? They're talking about Metal Magic from '83. I was like, oh yeah. Okay. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And here's the cool thing. You want to know the number one album? That's their worst album of all time.
Oh Lord, what was it?
Kanye West's album Ye.
Oh God.
So if there's anything that kind of made me happy is that Kanye West was at the top of their album for the worst album.
Worst ever.
Of course, it's by brilliant artists, which I'm gonna agree to disagree on Kanye West being a brilliant artist, but
or brilliant anything.
yeah, exactly. So.
Skid Row's to release a new live album later this year as well. So there's a new live album coming from those guys. Which would be kind of interesting as they just had a new lead singer. So he's going to be singing all the hits live for the first time. So Dave Ellefson gushes about new Metallica by comparing their new release to a new iPhone launch.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm excited for the new album to come out.
Yeah. That's a little, I don't know if he's being kind of sarcastic with that or what, but
that is true. That is
funny
true.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, it's funny.
And the end is seemingly nigh for Papa Emeritus IV in Ghost's latest video. So evidently he said something about Jesus is coming. So I don't know what he meant by that, but I don't expect it to be anything good. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, I do. Do you have any more headlines?
No, that was it.
I do know. I did see a headline that the Raven Age has got an album coming out this year. And then as far as live albums go, lest we not forget that our friends over at Spillage have announced that their live album is going to be coming out on March 31st.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we have that to look forward to. And then the two that I had, Geezer Butler is going to be publishing his autobiography Into the Void: From Birth to Black Sabbath and Beyond on June 6th. And then the last one I had, In This Moment, landed their 6th gold single for the song Adrenalize off of the 2012 album Blood. So
cool.
So congratulations to Geezer and to In This Moment. So
yeah, the In This Moment was racking up a few on there. I was reading that.
They were. Yeah, they were.
So it's something like I know we kind of gotten away from some of this stuff, but there's a couple things I want to talk about. I'm not really familiar with the band Running Wild, but one of their former guitarists passed away, and I'm not real sure how his name's pronounced. I don't know if it's Mac or Magic or how it is, but last name's Moti or Motai, but he passed away at was it like he was 56, 46, 66. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that. 66. Right?
Well, when was he born?
57. So I think he's 66.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So when was this?
This was the 16th of February.
Really? Oh shit, I missed that one. All right. Well, I'm definitely I'll take a look back at that and I'll make sure it gets added to the in memoriam list. Absolutely.
Then this one is kind of a history here, but February 17th, 1984, Megadeth made their live debut at Ruthie's Inn in Berkeley, California.
Oh, nice.
At the time, the band's lineup featured Kerry King on guitar, Lee Roche on drums, and Mustaine and Ellison on vocals, guitar, and bass, respectively. So there's a that's a lineup, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. And then I did see where also that not really an anniversary, but of marriage, but Rob Zombie and Sherry have celebrated their 30 years of meeting each other. So
oh, nice.
So not really, like I said, not a wedding anniversary, but first time they've actually, I guess, went out or whatever. 30 years.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That is cool.
So, but that's all the stuff I have for that. So,
All right. Well,
I'll save that screenshot for that in case you can't find it. I'll send it.
Yeah,
so
do that.
So you'll have the name and everything there.
Yeah, do that for me because I want to make sure that gets added to the list because we're not the fucking Grammys and we try to make sure. We try to make sure we mention everybody.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how big that band was here. I know they were big overseas, but
hey, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, I guess you want to hit some. You want to hit some of these hitting the roads, or
yes, yes, I do.
All right, so I got a few here. First off, Breaking Benjamin Bush and Another Day Dawn announced a U.S. tour. Kicks off on April 26th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the House of Blues. That's a Breaking Benjamin only. And then it'll end up on May 23rd in Knoxville, Tennessee at the University of Tennessee and Thompson Bowling Arena. Mm-hmm. They are in Nashville, right?
They're technically no.
It's Franklin. Is it Franklin?
It's Franklin.
Yeah.
I mean, it might. I mean, which actually.
I knew it was close.
But... Yeah, if it was us, it's actually better if it's in Franklin.
Right, yeah.
Because it's closer, but they're going to be at the First Bank Amphitheater on May 3rd.
Yeah, there was, yeah. I knew I didn't write that down for some reason, but I remember them actually saying they were going to be in Franklin or Nashville. So
right, yeah.
All right. And then got the one I was talking about earlier, the Milwaukee Metal Fest, now owned by Hatebreed vocalist Jamie Josto, will return between May 26th and 28th at the Rave Eagles Club. The lineup now includes Machine Head, Allegion, Midnight, Warbringer, Phobophilic, and lots more. The full lineup right now, or I guess the full lineup is this: Lamb of God, Anthrax, Suicidal Tendencies, Machine Head, Napalm Death, Dark Angel, The Black Dahlia Murder, Obituary, Dying Fetus, Shadows Fall, Corrosion of Conformity, Fear Factory, After the Burial, The Halo Effect, Immolation, Crowbar, Terror, Midnight, Violence, Goat Whore, Raven, Jungle Rot, Misery Index, Broken Hope, Macabre, Warbringer, Deeds of Flesh, Gate Creeper, Sing Witsa Sudabog. It's probably better than I have said it before. So.
You're getting a lot better at it for sure.
Frozen Soul, Defeated Sanity, Dying Wish, Body Snatcher, Allegion, Ripper, Angela Sapatrita, Chemist, Undeath. Sorry, I thought it was Under Oath for a minute. Undeath, Vended, Blood Incantation, Imperial Triumphant, Malignancy, Impaler, Mortal Scold, Fuming Mouth, Dead to Fall, Ingrown, Hath, Pissing Razors. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Repentance, Casket Robbery, High Command, Rose Funeral, Molder, Gates to Hell, Misfire, Dissenter, Phobophilic, Thrown into Exile, Toxic Ruin, Dead by Wednesday, Vermilion, Engineered Society Project, Age of the Fallen, Squid Hammer, Demon Scar, MRSA, Aftermath, and Mantra of Morta. So that is the full lineup for that. So that's going to be a fucking hell of a festival, dude.
Yeah, well.
Man, I wish I could make that trip. That would be pretty awesome. Then I have Chelsea Grand, Carnifex, Left to Suffer, and Of Sulfur announced a North American tour April 13th, Phoenix, Arizona at the Nile, and that ends on May 17th at Las Vegas, Nevada in the Fremont Country Club. And then I guess the one that we kind of all knew about because it was kind of everywhere, but Godsmack and I Prevail announced the U.S. tour kicks off May 4th in Denver, Colorado at the Gaby PI at Fillers Green Amphitheater, and ends on May 28th in Cassville, Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun Arena. That's a Godsmack only. And they will be in Franklin, Tennessee at the First Bank Amphitheater on May 23rd. So that was all of that I had. I know there was another bigger one or two there, but I was like, I don't want to take all the thunder. So.
Oh, no, man. That would have been fun. Yeah, but it's cool to see that some more hard rock and heavy metal acts are starting to come down to that amphitheater in Franklin.
Yeah.
They're not just keeping it confined to Nashville, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, so my contribution.
Tickets weren't too bad for the Godsmack show. I think under there, like the first row behind the pit was like $80 or something.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
So let's see. My contribution this week was PRP.com exclusive this week, which was kind of out of the ordinary. Yeah, I mean, the Godsmack show and stuff like that. We're also at like Blabbermouth and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
So it wasn't the only place that had them, but like I always start with the PRP,
Mhm.
and then after that I'll kind of branch out. But by the time I got done, I had gotten everything that was at every other website. So
I think I was mostly. I think most of mine was Loudwire. I think.
yeah.
Maybe a Metal Sucks in here, but most of it. I think most of it was Loudwire.
But leading off this week, Evergreen Terrace is going to has a few shows scheduled for March in Texas for the 20th anniversary of their their Burned Alive by Time album. They're going to be in Houston on March 15th at Scout Bar, Austin on 316. Get the fuck out of here.
Imagine that, yeah.
And Come and Take It Live. Abilene, Texas on St. Patrick's Day at The Zone, and on March 18th in Fort Worth, Texas at Rail Club. Then Aborted has scheduled 5 dates that will be off dates from the Chaos and Carnage tour. They will be in Lawrence, Kansas at the Bottleneck on April 5th. They will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Vanguard on April 6th. They will be in New Orleans, Louisiana at Southport Hall featuring Crown Magnetar on April 10th. In Omaha, Nebraska at the Waiting Room featuring Crown Magnetar on April 23rd, and in Salt Lake City at the Metro Music Hall on April 25th. Then Emperor has announced their first U.S. tour dates in 15 years. They have 5 dates scheduled starting June 23rd in Chicago at the Aragon Ballroom, June 25th in Brooklyn, New York at the King's Theater, June 28th in Dallas, Texas at the Southside Ballroom, June 30th in L.A. at the YouTube Theater, and July 1st in Anaheim, California at the House of Blues. Unsane is going to be going to Europe and the UK in the spring, starting May 4th in Osnabrück, Germany at the Bastard Club, finishing June 10th in Vicenza, Italy at Bacciodromo. Left to Suffer and Victims will be going out starting March 29th in Nashville at the End, finishing April 3rd in Greensboro, North Carolina at Hangar 1829. Trivium, Bleed From Within, and Orbit Culture are going to the UK this summer, starting August 23rd in Cambridge, England at the Corn Exchange, finishing September 7th in Southampton, England at the O2 Guildhall. Bad Omens.
Great lineup, too.
Yeah, it is. Bad Omens, Era, and Invent Animate are going to be going out starting May 4th in Greenwood Village, Colorado at the 107.9 KBPI Birthday Bash. That is Bad Omens only. Finishing June 4th in Wichita, Kansas at the Cotillion Ballroom. There is no Nashville date, but they will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the Signal on May 18th, and they will be in Memphis, Tennessee at Minglewood Hall on June 3rd. Ghost and Amon Amarth are coming to the United States starting August 2nd in Concord, California at the Concord Pavilion, and finishing September 11th in Los Angeles, California at the Kia Forum. That will be Ghost only. They will be in Nashville on August 27th at the Ascend Amphitheater.
Is Ghost not an American band? I didn't know that.
Well, Ghost is, but
okay. That's you said coming to the United States.
Amon Amarth is from Sweden.
Okay,
so.
I was about to say.
Ghost. Ghost is from here. Yeah, so that's my bad. Well, I didn't kind of like specify.
They're rowing over, right?
Yeah, they're probably on their way over right now. It would probably take that long in one of those fucking rowboats.
Yeah.
No Bragging Rights is going on the 10th anniversary tour for their Cycles album. They've announced a couple of dates for that. April 7th in Anaheim at Chain Reaction, and April 8th in Henderson, Nevada at the Eagle Airy Hall. Then they will be going to Australia for for about a week and a half with Outsider and Proposal. Those dates start April 13th in Adelaide at the Crown and Anchor and finish April 22nd in Brisbane at the Back Room. Carcass is going on a headlining tour of the UK with Conjurer starting May 27th in Glasgow at Slay, finishing May 31st in Merthyr Tydfil. I'm not exact. I think that's in the UK somewhere. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's England or not. I didn't look that up. But they will be at the Red House Simru. Then they will be with Unto Others and Conjurer starting June 1st in Northampton, England at the Roadmender, finishing June 11th in Donington, England at the Download Festival. Then we have Escuela Grind and Bonginator going out starting March 29th in Montreal, Quebec at the Fufune Lounge. I hope I said that right. It's French. I don't speak French, but I'm hoping. Fufune. I hope I said that right. Then finishing April 16th in Morgantown, West Virginia at 123 Pleasant Street. There's no Nashville date, but they will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee at The Dark Grind on April 6th. High on Fire has announced a quartet of Washington State dates. They will be in Bremerton, Washington at the Tracyton Movie House on March 25th, in Tacoma, Washington at Jazz Bones on March 26th, in Bellingham, Washington at the Shakedown on March 7th, and then Kelso, Washington at Erebus on March 28th. Corey Taylor and the Cherry Bombs have announced some dates in May. They will be in Reading, Pennsylvania at the theater at Santander Arena on May 2nd, Johnstown, Pennsylvania at First Summit Arena on May 3rd, Moline, Illinois at the Rust Belt on May 5th, and in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the Epic Center on May 7th. The Black Dahlia Murder have announced 2 headlining shows ahead of their tour with Terror, Frozen Soul, Fuming Mouth, and Phobophilic, and those dates are April 12th in Lakewood, Ohio at the Foundry, and April 13th in Richmond, Virginia at the Canal Club. So that rounds out Hitting the Road for the 11th through the 17th.
Nice.
Yes.
A lot of good shows coming. So.
Yeah, there are.
All right. I guess we will kick over into our metal theme of the week. Went with wrecks, car crashes, whatever.
Accidents, stuff like
Accidents. I mean, it can go in a lot of different directions, I guess. So.
Yeah, and I kind of did.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I went with a lot of different different things. So.
But it is kind of nice when we pick a little bit more of a broad topic. So.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't get you down to you're sitting there scurrying for the 10th one instead of having to stop at 15 because you've got too many.
Yeah. Which I ended up with 12 this week. So
I don't remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually had 15. So
okay, nice.
So,
not bad.
All right, I'll kick off here. My first one to the theme here is Motley Crue, Crash and Burn. That was actually from the Dirt soundtrack in 2019.
Yep.
Then I went band-wise. This one I went with Living Wreckage, song Breaking Point from Living Wreckage 2022. Then I went with Parkway Drive Wreckage from Deep Blue 2010, which was a great show, by the way. I didn't really talk too much about that, but
that was earlier this week.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Five Finger Death Punch, Wrecking Ball from The Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell, Volume 2. For All Eternity, Derailed from The Will to Reveal 2017. Then I went with As I Lay Dying, Collision from Frail Words Collapse 2003. Then we went with Dayseeker, Collision Survive, What It Means to Be Defeated 2013. Then we went with Judas Priest, Down in Flames from Redeemer of Souls in 2014. Then I went with Machine Head, Crashing Around You from Supercharger 2001. Then I went with Non-Points, Crashing from 10 from 2018. Then I went with Until I Wake, Still Sinking from the album Inside My Head from 2022. I went with Alex is on Fire, Accidents from the album Watch Out from 2004. Then I went with The Ghost Inside, Aftermath from the Ghost Inside 2020. If you don't know about that song, it's about a bus accident that band actually had. So.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
That's kind of what that whole song's about. So it's kind of it's a song about how they all kind of dealt with it. So.
Oh, all right.
Damn near. I think one of the band members actually lost a limb or something.
Oh. So
yeah, it was pretty bad. So that was kind of what their 6-7 year hiatus was all about. So then I went with one of our guests on the show last year, The Defaced. I went with Wreck from the Charlottesville's 2022. Then my last one was Exodus, Impact is Imminent from the album Impact is Imminent 1990s.
Nice.
Which was also about an accident. So
yeah. Very nice. All right. So
not necessarily an accident, but about drinking and driving in general. So
right. Yeah. All right, so we had 3 this week that were the same, so not too bad. So my list this week, and the first one I thought of, the very very second you mentioned the theme, I went with Crash Course and Brain Surgery by Metallica, which I know is a cover version, but off of Yeah, but off of Garage Inc. from 1998. Then I went with Wreck by Distinct Way off of their self-titled album from 2016. They are a thrash / heavy metal band from Warsaw, Poland. So they were a band I discovered doing some research for this. Then I also went with Wreck by The Defaced from Charlatans from last year. Then I went with Hit the Wall by Lamb of God, which was a single from 2011. I also had Crashing Around You by Machine Head, Supercharger from 01. Then I had a few where I went with kind of like a synonym for accident, wreck, whatever. I kind of went off in that direction for a few. I went with Disaster by Pissing Razors off of their self-titled album from 1998. I went with Impending Disaster by Devil Driver off the Fury of Our Maker's Hand from 2005. Went with National Disaster by our friends Extinction AD off of The Culture of Violence from last year. Then I went with Fabulous Disaster by Exodus off the album with the same name from 1989. Then I also had Collision As I Lay Dying from Frail Worlds Collapse from 08. Then I went with Fallen Brother by Creator off of Gods of Violence from 2017. And then I went with When the Guns Fell Silent by Warbringer off War to the Vanquish from 2017. So I went with Fallen and Fell there. So a little bit more word specific on those two, but so yeah, that's mine right there. So we'll collaborate and compile and get that posted for you guys who are members of the Facebook group over there, which we are now happy to say, which we are up to over 500 members now. We're at 503 at our last check. So
cool, awesome,
very cool.
Yeah, forget it. Averages. I guess I can talk about the show a little bit. Parkway Drive was just here in town with Currents and Memphis Mayfire, which was, so I guess like the big takeaway that I had from this show was whoever does their lights and stuff, dude's a fucking metal dude. Like that shit was just so fucking great. Like, I mean, it was just, because you're indoors, so you can't really use pyros and stuff. So they definitely made, took advantage of the light show, with not being able to do that. So, so I think they really did a really good job with that. So whoever their light guy is, they need to give that guy a raise. So.
There you go.
But yeah, he did a really good job. Sound wise, was all three bands sounded great. I wasn't really big about Currents. I only knew about a couple songs, but they really did put on a good show. So they actually have a new album coming out, they said. So
cool. All right,
something to check out later on this year. And Memphis Mayfire, they were really, really good. They sounded good. Of course, Parkway Drive was excellent. I was really surprised they sung a lot from their new album. I was like really surprised by that. So I think they sung like 5 songs from that album. I'm like, wow.
Well, they must be definitely. Sounds like they're definitely touring on it, which is
well,
nice.
yeah. They're definitely pushing it. So they actually did an encore. I don't know if it was scheduled to do or not, but they came back and did an encore of 2 songs. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was pretty cool. They actually did an old one that I wasn't really familiar with. So I had to go back and look at the set, but I was like, it was like from their first album or some shit. I'm like, oh wow.
Oh, deep cut. Nice.
Yeah, deep cut. Yeah, they did a deep cut. So, everybody else, a lot of people in there knew what it was. Not everybody, but a lot of people in there knew what it was. So, so evidently, it was a one that everybody was familiar with. I wasn't, because I wasn't a Parkway Drive fan until like the Void. So, so I came to the party a little late. So
yeah. Well, that happens.
Susie was like, Susie was funny because they're from Australia. She was like, well, he can just talk to me all night. He ain't got to sing. So. I was like, wow,
that is funny.
Anyway, so it was a good show, man. Overall,
nice.
That was the first show of 2023 for me. So,
yep.
Next up will be Non-Point in about a month. So.
Yeah.
For the 15th time, I don't know how many times I've seen those guys, but all right, we can go over into album reviews. I did 2 this week, so and then of course I listened to the Avatar. I don't know if you got
me
a chance
too.
To listen to that. It's
yes, I did.
Really good. There's one song on there I was kind of like, yeah, but the majority of it was really good. So
yeah. I listened to the new Avatar too. So
it was the next to last track. I didn't really care for, but I don't even remember.
I'll
go back and look what it was now. So
yeah, we can pull that up. Yeah, we can definitely pull that up.
Yeah, got it up right now. So it was called Train, I think. So it was a little out of the ordinary for Avatar. So I guess it kind of threw me off a little bit.
Well, I mean, shit. If there's one thing you can say about Avatar that's pretty much guaranteed is
They're not ordinary. Yeah,
you are never going to pin that band down to one style. You will not do it.
No.
That's one of the things that's one of the things I really like about them is they are about as diverse as a metal band as you're going to find.
Yeah. And Johannes is still one of those guys that still has that, man, it's like he still has that vocal, like he can do anything vocally. And it's just amazing to me how, and like, I guess they didn't really like hit me until I seen him live that he does all of that. He does the growls, the screams, and the cleans. Like he does them all. And it's like to him to shift in the middle of a song, I don't know. It's just amazing to me. Like there's a lot of guys out there that do that. And,
yeah, he's extremely talented.
The lead singer from Brand of Sacrifice does that too, and I'm just like, dude, like I don't know how the fuck y'all do that shit, but it's fucking amazing. It's like you could be all guttural and screaming and then melodic all at the same time. It's like, how in the hell do you do that? But yeah, very impressive. I liked it. It's definitely a 4-horn album for me, for sure. So.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it 4 horns. I will say this: as much as I enjoyed it, I actually think I liked Hunter Gatherer more. But but at the same time, that is not to say that I didn't enjoy this album. I did. I enjoyed it very much. I will say one thing. I thought track number 2, Chimp Mosh Pit, was really, really strange.
Yeah,
it was a really strange song. But I tell you what I did like, Violence No Matter What, the song that he did together with Lizzie Hale, that one came out really well.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And then The Dirt I'm Buried In, which was I think I want to say the lead single. The Dirt I'm Buried In is probably my favorite fucking song off of it. But yeah, I enjoyed the album, definitely giving it 4 horns like you. But I did like the last one better, but definitely not a slam at all against this one.
And I'm still like, I think my favorite album over there is still going to be Hail the Apocalypse. That's just me. But.
Yeah, probably. All
right. Anyway,
it's very good.
The first one I did this week was by a band called 66 Crusher. The album's Limbo. They are a band from Bergen, Vessel, Norway. Been around since 2000, so they've been around a little bit. And let's see, this is their 4th album, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So they've had a couple. Like it's crazy. They were formed in 2000, but they didn't make a full length album until 2007. So they had like a couple demos, and then before they put out their first full length. So it's kind of interesting. They waited 7 years, but like you said, there's things that kind of happen. So we understand. So, but anyway, the current band members, and I'm going to kill a lot of these names because, of course, they're from Norway. Oystein Kuman, bassist, Hakan. Oh my God, Bert. I don't know the middle name. I'm just going to go with Bergstad, drums. Then Jarl Osvald, vocals and guitars. And then Martin Legreed, guitars. So he's actually the newest member of the band. He actually joined in 2009. So he wasn't on the first album, but he's been on the last 3. So they've had a pretty good, decent lineup, together for a while. So this is the band's 4th full-length album, 7 songs. It's a little lengthy, 51 minutes, 27 seconds. We'll say the guitar work kind of stuck out. Some really good guitar work on this album. Vocally was good and diverse. I think Jarl definitely shows some different avenues vocally. So he's kind of the same like we was talking about with Johannes. Is not a one-dimensional singer at all. He kind of can do a little bit of everything. Don't change the tempo like Johannes, but the only thing that I didn't care for was some of the arrangements. I thought some of the arrangements was kind of weird. How they would be. It'd be all like kind of, I don't know, thrashy, and then like tone it down like in the middle of the song for some reason. I was just like, man, that's just kind of weird to me. But then it would pick back in, and it wouldn't even be like the same like thrash sound. It would be like a whole different. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
Yeah.
they dropped and picked it up in a different spot. I think it's kind of.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's kind of strange, but the tempo changing was just a bit weird, on a couple of the tracks. But I mean, I'll listen to it again to see if it may grow on me. But for right now, I'm only going to give it 3.5, just because of the weird arrangements. May go back and listen to some of the earlier stuff to see if it may be something they're just kind of playing with and to get away from some of the ordinary sounds that they may have had before or something. But
maybe.
And then the next one I listened to was a band called Half Me. The album is called Soma. They are hailing from Hamburg, Germany. So they were founded in October 2018 after the demise of each other's local bands. So they are currently Christopher Zulk on vocals, Christopher Hesse on guitars, Julius Jansen on guitars, Tobias Max Sajans, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Bassist, then Maximilian Eiserdorf on drums. So that is the current lineup. So this is the band's debut album. So another debut album coming out. 12 songs, 34 minutes, 41 seconds. Vocally is definitely a foundation for metalcore. So of course, I'm all down with that. So screams and cleans, very well done. Even the hints of guttural sprinkled in was really nicely done too. So the drumming on this one really stuck out to me. Like you kind of can hear these different sounds, and you'll hear something just kind of like, whether it's a guitar or a drum beat or whatever it is. But the drums, like on every song, was really, 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 really good. So, and the bass was kind of distinctive as well, which you don't really hear a lot. You don't really like hear a lot of songs, and you'd be like, oh, that's the bass is great. The song because there's not really many songs you can really distinct pick out the bass. Yeah, but it was really easy to do with this one though. So, and the guitar work was excellent as well. I mean, all around, it's a great debut album. I'm gonna give it 4 horns. Actually, maybe have some irons in the fire trying to get those guys on the show to talk about it a little bit. So, but definitely a must listen. I think so.
Nice. All right, it gives me something to listen to this week. So 4 horns out of 5. Very nice. All right, let's see. I'm writing down your stuff.
Oh, you're good.
Make sure I write down all your stuff so I have it for the Metalhead Minute on Wednesday, which I may have to do 2 Metalhead Minutes this week. Some things got in the way this past week. I wasn't able to do it, but
for real.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I've been swamped with stuff too. So
I wasn't able to. Yeah, I wasn't able to get to it this week. So, all right. So, in addition to listening to the Avatar, like I did, my formal review this week is the new album Abyssal by a band called Hexer. They're actually not even really a band. It's just it's a 2-person. It's just a duo consisting of Marvin Gear on guitar and vocals and Melvin Cieslar on drums and percussion. So they are a doom/sludge metal band formed in Dortmund, Germany in 2014. Their lyrical themes include space, seer, and aliens. It's aliens. Yep. This is their 3rd album. Their debut album, Cosmic Doom Ritual, came out in 2017. Realm of the Feathered Serpent in 2020, and Abyssal came out yesterday. This one is 6 tracks long, but it's 39 minutes and 33 seconds. So it's maybe a little bit of a bloated EP, but it is what it is. But so it was a relatively quick listen. The tempo was okay. I'm not usually like a doom sludge metal type of guy, but the pace of this one was okay. I did like that it was a little bit more up tempo than a lot of doom and sludge metal albums that I've heard. A lot of them are just kind of like have a really, really deliberate, crunchy, slower tempo, but they're really, really, really heavy. And the heaviness was there of the sludge metal, which was good, but it had a little bit more of an up tempo feel. Probably probably due to like a little bit more of the doom metal aspect, because some of the doom metal that I've listened to, a little bit of the doom metal that I listen to does pick up the pace here and there. The vocals weren't too bad. By and large, it was mostly gutturals, but there was enough cleanliness to the gutturals where I was able to understand the lion's share of the lyrics. So that does help. So it was interesting to find out that these songs were put together by two guys, which was kind of nice. So that actually wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna give it 3 horns out of 5 because, like I say, it's not something I normally listen to. But considering it's a couple of subgenres, I don't really gravitate towards it.
Right.
It was actually put together pretty well. I would probably listen to this again if if it came on a Spotify playlist. It's not too bad. I will say one thing though. The runtime was 39 minutes and 33 seconds. They could have cut that down. That's kind of one thing that's a little bit of a peeve of mine with sludge metal. Sometimes is it seems like
drags on.
It drags on because the tempo is already slow enough as it is.
Right.
But when you're relying on one riff or one fill or one drum line or something, and you kind of grab it and you drag it out and you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it kind of at the end of a song, that happened a couple of times on this album. It's like they could have chopped this off by a couple of bars or a couple of measures, and they could have made that sequence a lot shorter. And because track number 4 is over 8 minutes long, and I'm like, that didn't need to be that long. They could have cut that off. They could have made it 7.5 maybe. So that was a little bit of a kind of a downer for me. So those songs didn't need to be as long as they did. So, but overall not too bad. Like I say, 3 horns out of 5. I did enjoy it more than, I probably normally would. So not too bad. And then, like I say, I listened to the Avatar, 4 horns out of 5. And then I listened to the EP, the EP Thieves by Age of Ruin. And this was kind of weird because this one was Age of Ruin was it was 7 tracks long, but it was like 28 minutes.
I listened to that one too, like because it came out. I think it actually dropped on like Wednesday or something.
Yeah, I believe it did. I think it came out on the 14th, maybe. So I think it came out on Tuesday. Yeah. So I checked that one out. That one wasn't too bad. That one gave me it was kind of like a melodic death metal with a little bit kind of like of course, if you listen to it, you may agree with me or disagree with me. And it had a little bit like a little bit of maybe like an In Flames influence to it in certain respects. But I could hear maybe a little bit of influence from In Flames there. I wouldn't call them dead ringers or anything.
Right.
But this one was, like I say, this one wasn't too bad for melodic death metal. I'm going to give this one 3 horns out of 5 too. This one was all right. It was a pretty quick listen. I got through it pretty quick, so it wasn't too bad. So
cool.
Yeah.
So what do we got for next week?
Yeah, we got a pretty good list coming up for February 24th. Leading off next week, we actually got some. There are a few quote unquote name bands coming out with some stuff again next week too. So let's see. Starting off with Adversor with Portrait of a Wasteland. We have Air Raid with Fatal Encounter. Alborn with Push. That is an EP. Anatomy of Habit with Black Openings. Anthropic with End of the Bloodline. Ascension with Under the Veil of Madness. We have Assilence with Endanger Us All. Atrocious Filth with Ove. Big Brave with Nature Morte. Black Knife with Live at House of Yarga. Body Farm with Ultimate Abomination. We have Bray with Av. Valnator, Bortum Alt. Burn the Ocean with Modern Ruins. Buzzard with Gambler, that's a re-release. We have Siemra with The Tread of Darkness. Coffin Born with Cadaveric Retribution. Connor Patrick Rogers with Deliverance. Crown of Madness with Elemental Binding, that is an EP. Dante's View with Happiness is a War. Dark Embrace with Dark Heavy Metal, not bad. Death Pill with a self-titled album. The Design Abstract with Transhuman Ascendant. We have Dedent with Ex Auditu Part 1, that is an EP. Then we have Dope with Blood Money Part 0. I'm looking forward to that one. El Supremo with Acid Universe. Ended with Into the Nothing. Enemy of Reality with Where Truth May Lie, Eulogy with Rebirth, Fester Decay with Reality, Rotten to the Core. That's probably going to be a badass album cover.
Yeah.
We have Flessia with Essence 1 and 2, Funeral Winds with Stigmata Mali, Furnace with the Casca trilogy, Godsmack with Lighting Up the Sky. I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah.
Great Cold Emptiness with Immaculate Hearts Will Triumph. With let's see, we have Giassi with Baby Blue. That's an EP. Hammerhead with Nonetheless. Heaven's Gate with All I Love and All I Loved Alone. That's an EP. We have Heidevolk with Wiederkehr. Hog Meets Frog with Humanimalization. That's an EP. Well, that was a mouthful. Host with 9, the Roman numeral IX, 9. Hurricane of Saturn with Onyx. I don't know what. There's like a
So
weird.
it looks like, yeah, I see that.
Onyx. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be.
That's weird.
That is odd. We have Hypnose with Shell, Ice Storm with the Northern Crusades, Idolatrous with Sorrow on Midgard, Insomnium with Anno 1696, Iron Curtain with Metal Gladiator, that's an EP, Insolent with Drain, that is also an EP, King Abyss with Snake Oil, Cunt Squad with a self-titled album. we have Mayersfeld with Alice Anders, Mammoth Caravan with Ice Cold Oblivion. We have Manigance with the Shadows Ball, Marvel with Double Decade, Megaton Sword with Might and Power, Murloc with Onward Strides Colossus. We have Molotov with You, Morphotic with Proclamation of War, Mortalus with We Are Human, Motorhead with Bad Magic, seriously Bad Magic, Mithraeum with Halls of Mithras, Nightwolf with Riding the Night, No Spill Blood with Eye of Night. We have Naya with Head Held High, that's a re-release. Oh my good lord. Oh, Jesus Christ. Or Hex with, okay, give me a second. Landschap Senomachronisman. That is an EP. That's the only time I'm saying that. Old Spirit with Burning in Heaven. Jesus. Omega Infinity with The Anticurrent. We have Pill and Bew with Special Agents. Roxanne with Stereotypical. Sarcoptus with Prayers to Oblivion. Satanica with Horde of Disgust. Sienna Root with Revelation. Sign of Death with Revival. Slumbering Sun with The Ever-Living Fire. Spectral Damnation with Extra Ecclesiam. Steel Panther with On the Prowl, another one I've been looking forward to. Stoner with Boogie to Baja. We have Texty TV 666 with Vapowden Tassavalta. We have They Grieve with a self-titled album. Thinosis with Sero Conversion. To the Grave with Director's Cuts. Up Down with Duel. I don't know why there's 2 C's in there, but
up down, I guess.
Up Down, maybe. I don't know. With Duel, Vitra with Blasphemy Blues, Westing with Future, What the Five Fingers Said to the Face with
Slap.
Oh God Almighty! I'm gonna have to at least see what that album cover looks like. When Hearts Wither with This Is Where It Ends, Wolves in Winter with The Calling Quiet, Wretched Fate with Cardinal Heresy, and Igor Kime with New Kingdom. I can't get that What the Five Fingers
Yeah, I know, right?
out of my head now. Thank you, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So that is, yeah. So cold-blooded. So that is the rather lengthy list for next Friday, February 24th. So.
All right. Well, I guess that will put a bow on this one.
Yeah, it sure does.
So we'll be back with the regular stuff next week. So we don't have a guest next week. Of course,
Yeah.
that's my anniversary weekend, so I kind of planned it that way. So
That's totally fine. That'll work out fine.
we do have guests coming on the week after. So
That's right. We're starting. We're gonna start March off with a bang.
pick
So.
it right back up. So.
Still interested. Still going to be interesting to hear who has accepted our invitation to come on for our live and in-person interview at the Expo coming up on St. Patrick's Day weekend. So
yeah, I still haven't gotten the lineup for that yet.
No, we haven't. We haven't gotten our.
I think that's supposed to, that may come out this week. So
I think it might, but so we have quite a list of requests that we've put in. So we'll see who kind of we'll see who kind of accepts our invitation to come on the show live and in person when we're at the expo in Nashville. But we will be starting March off with another live guest here on the Metalheads Unite podcast. Want to thank Tim Scott from Methane from joining us all the way from his house in Sweden today. So we appreciate that. Before we go, we want to remind everybody of all of the places where you can find us now. Like Jason said at the beginning of the show, we are on Spotify. However, it is, it will not be the live stream. So as soon as the show is over today or sometime this weekend, Jason will get that posted. And if you missed the show and if you missed all the show or part of the show, or if you want to go back and check out the interview, you'll be able to do that on Spotify after the fact. You can catch us on VOPUSAradio.com, the home, the home base, the mothership, whatever you want to call it, the VOP USA Radio mobile app. We have our YouTube channel. We have Twitter and Twitch and TikTok and Instagram. We have our Facebook group here at Facebook. If you want to become a member, just look for the shiny new logo over here. Yeah, that'll be us. And then what else we got going on? Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com and Metalheads Unite. We have oh crap! What is that? What is our official email address at Metalheads Unite again? At Metalheads Unite at VOPUSA.com. That's what I blanked on it there for a second. So yep, Metalheads Unite at VOPUSA.com. And of course, there it is. Someone's on the ball. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. I had a brain fart there. So, and then lest I forget, we currently have two designs over at the VOP USA merch store. You can check that out at VOPUSAradio.store. So check that out over there and buy some stuff. We would greatly appreciate it. But there you go. There's pretty much every way you can think of to find us if you wish to. So
every which way to Sunday is what they say.
Pretty much. Yep, pretty much.
All right. Again, I want to thank Tim Scott for joining us today, and then thank all of you for joining us as well.
Yeah, thank everybody. Ace and Kevin and Dan, Dana for stopping by. Victor's probably busy doing something.
He's probably recovered from a show somewhere.
He probably is, actually. Probably right. He probably is.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody for stopping in, checking us out today. If you want to go back and listen to the interview, you can do that over YouTube, or later on, I will upload that to Spotify. So sometime by the first of the week, anyway. So
yep.
Anyway, hopefully we will see you guys back here next week, and then for our regularly scheduled programming. Until then, you can keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you guys next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.